Get out.
President Trump and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth telling a gathering of hundreds of generals that they're taking political correctness out of the military. Correspondent Michael Wallace has more.
President Trump vowed to reawaken the military's warrior spirit, beginning with the deployments in American cities.
We should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military.
He said Chicago is next. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announced military promotions will no longer be based on race or gender, and new combat fitness tests will include male standards.
The era of politically correct, overly sensitive, don't hurt anyone's feelings leadership ends right now.
And he went on to say anyone in the military who disagrees with his new directives should resign. Your weather for today, cloudy skies, a few rain showers and storms this afternoon and evening, highs around 80. It could be windy, some of those winds gusting up to 20 miles an hour. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast coming up at 12:05. A government shutdown could impact air travel nationwide. Chris Van Cleve reporting the longer it drags on, the more impact it will have on travelers.
TSA officers are not high-paid government workers, so missing a paycheck can have a profound impact. Air traffic controllers would also work without pay, and in January of 2019, air traffic control sick calls resulted in significant flight disruptions in the New York City area shortly before the shutdown ended.
And the looming shutdown comes as the nation also faces a shortage of 3,000 air traffic controllers. Well, Georgia is getting $531 million in grant money from the USDA. Tyler Harper, Georgia Commissioner of Agriculture, telling us.
Our team's been working overtime to get this done. So we're really excited about this, and this is a step in the right direction to get the assistance to where it needs to be.
And he says the money is going to be going to those areas that traditionally don't get covered.
Things like timber and poultry and infrastructure losses and other commodities like certain specialty crops and nurseries that we typically don't see USDA programs covering those gaps and disasters.
Now, this block grant funding is part of the $30 billion disaster assistance relief effort authorized by the American Relief Act. New here at noon, the state's highest court has ruled a vote can move forward that would regulate the size of new development on Georgia's Sapelo Island.
Gullah Geechee residents on Sapelo Island are opposed to housing that is double the size currently on the coastal island. The state Supreme Court ruling allows a referendum to move forward aimed at restricting development on the sparsely populated island. Sapelo Island is the home of descendants of enslaved West Africans. Gullah Geechee residents say the earlier size restrictions limited the number of luxury homes and vacation getaways found in other Georgia coastal communities, such as Tybee Island and St. Simons. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
A much-discussed rezoning request by a Decatur cemetery goes before the DeKalb County Commission for a vote later today.
Washington Memorial Gardens has served the Scottdale area of Decatur for almost 80 years. Earlier this year, co-owner Timothy Amui had this to say about efforts to add a crematory and funeral home.
We're a 35-acre cemetery. It's a beautiful memorial park, so we're just looking to convert the existing office building to enable those services as well.
After neighbors expressed strong reservations about the crematory, that part of the plan was scrapped. But the effort to repurpose an existing on-site building as a funeral home is ongoing, and it received support from the Planning Commission earlier this month. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
The DeKalb County School District will be hosting a series of meetings starting tonight, on the future of Druid Hills High School.
County leaders pledged funds to modernize the district's oldest facility after a student-made video showing deplorable conditions went viral. They're now weighing the best approach to take. Some advocate for renovations to the school that's over 100 years old. Others call for a new building to be built on the same site, while still others want a new school to be relocated.
And WSB Cheryl Castro reports tonight's meeting will start at 6 at Druid Hills High School. 2 more meetings are set for October. Cobb police give new details today about the arrest of 4 shoplifting suspects. They took off from Cumberland Mall at high speed, sometimes driving on the wrong side of the roads, twice the posted speed limit. Police had to utilize a pit maneuver to stop the vehicle. They took the 4 men into custody. 2 of them already had outstanding warrants for previous incidents, all 4 facing felony charges. And this just in, the football game between 2 historically black colleges set for Saturday will no longer be held at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. No word yet on where the Georgia Football Classic between Florida A&M and Mississippi Valley State will take place. Fans who purchase tickets through Ticketmaster will get automatic refunds. It's unclear what caused the venue change and if the kickoff time, which is right now set for 4 o'clock, is going to change or not. Let's take a look at the markets. Your investments, how they're working for you. Well, the Dow is currently down 111 at 46,204. NASDAQ also down, and so is the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Been a busy start to the lunch hour, Sabrina. We have a crash now in West Atlanta, 20 eastbound, Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, exit number 53. They got it contained to the right lane, so hopefully that'll help out the delays coming over from Holmes Drive as you head toward downtown. Speaking of downtown, still watching a pretty slow ride on the Beaufort Spring connector in I-85 southbound, trying to make your way into Midtown. Crash pushed off to the right in Norcross, all lanes back open, 85 northbound at Beaver Ruin Road, exit 102. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Time now for Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored by Shoemate, the official plumber of Atlanta. Here's WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards.
Cloudy skies for this afternoon with off and on rain showers and a few rumbles of thunder. Today's high is near 80, lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, sunshine returns with a high of 83. Mostly sunny with drier air moving in on Thursday. Morning lows in the upper 50s, daytime highs 78. Sunny skies for Friday and Saturday. Morning lows in the mid-50s, daytime highs in the mid-70s.
75 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Okay, friends, it's the 5K Day Bonus Blitz. The noon keyword is taco, T-A-C-O, taco. Enter the keyword taco into the WSB Radio app or at WSBRadio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword, win $1,000. The keyword is taco, T-A-C-O. Don't forget, if you get a phone call after 12:30 from a number you don't recognize, answer it. Could be us telling you you won $1,000. Good luck.
It's happening. Welcome. It's Eric Erickson here. The House of Representatives, Morgan Griffith from Virginia, just gavelled the House out until Friday afternoon. That means that if the Democrats in the United States Senate do not take a deal from the Senate Republicans today, the government shuts down at midnight. They're going to shut down the government. The Democrats rejected a deal with Donald Trump. And the funny thing is, Donald Trump put out a meme. It was dumb. I wish he wouldn't. I know many of you don't care, but I just think when the president puts out something that's got a bunch of profanity in it, I mean, I remember when they used to be examples and Republicans said character counted, and now they're like, screw it, we'll behave just like them. I wish he wouldn't. He was very funny, though. Hakeem Jeffries in a sombrero and Chuck Schumer uttering profanities about needing health care for illegal aliens on CNN. They were all tut-tutting it. They won't ask Democrats about other Democrats cheering on a cop killer, but they'll ask other Republicans, what do you think of this video from Donald Trump on Truth Social? Isn't it appalling? What's more appalling is the Democratic Congress critters cheering on a cop killer who died in Cuba escaping justice, who's now more likely than not in hell. And I can't believe you would judge the cop killer. Well, I mean, she was an atheist communist who rejected God. So, yeah, I don't know what happened in the last few seconds of her life, but I'm pretty sure I know where she is. Many of us won't be seeing her again. The Democrats cannot help themselves. They are falling for the government shutdown trap. And I stayed up late and I did the legal research for you people because I love you. In my former job as a lawyer, I knew how to do these things, to pull up the statutes, to pull up the code, to pull up the memos. Holy moly. Y'all are in for a treat. But first, let me set the stage. Remember Mehdi Hassan? He was on MSNBC until they canned him. He was talking to a progressive. I've got to play you this clip because it's very relevant to this.
What tools does the minority party have to use to push back?
It's a great question. And when I was mocking Schumer and Jeffries yesterday, Matt Iglesias was like, well, what else do you want them to do other than win the midterms? Well, there's a few things you could say here. Obviously, they don't control the Senate or the House. Obviously, we know that. But we do know that when Republicans don't control the Senate and the House, they do find multiple ways to jam up the system. There is ways for minority party to be much more aggressive. For a start, stop voting for things. Like, stop voting for everything. Stop this bipartisanship. This has to end. You've got even my friends over at the Pod Save universe saying, stop all this. Like, you don't vote to fund a government that is rounding up American citizens, right? That is putting troops on the streets. This idea that, if they just fiddle with the bill here and there, we can do a deal and fund the government. Stop voting for things. Be obstructionist, be negative, be cynical. That's for a start, just in terms of what you can do. Hold your own investigations. Fan out on the media with actual communications people. I said this in a previous chat you and I had. Have some kind of shadow cabinet that's ready to go and respond on various issues at all times. Elevate the good people in your party to speak. Jeffries and Schumer, it's not just about tactics. It's about a worldview. I don't deny that Democrats lack weapons and lack power on Capitol Hill. What bothers me is the mindset, because what happens when they do get power back? They're not going to do anything with it because they're still obsessed with this fake golden age of bipartisanship that never existed.
Okay, I recognize some of that rhetoric because when I was a novice rage blogger of the right, I would say similar things. Guess what? You can't have a shadow cabinet because you have to have a shadow president, and the party out of power doesn't have a leader. Barack Obama could step up, but they don't want him. Joe Biden or Kamala Harris could. The problem here for Mehdi Hasan, who, as you can tell by his accent, isn't actually an American down with our system of government, is we don't have a parliamentary system that Mehdi Hasan has. In a parliamentary system, you can have a shadow cabinet. You can't do that in the United States because who's the shadow president? You got a bunch of Democrats who want to be the shadow president. None of them want to be the shadow secretary of Homeland Security. So you can't do that. Yet, could you have your own hearings? You don't have subpoena power, you moron. You don't have subpoena power. You can't. And so here's the problem. The Democrats have backed themselves into a corner with their rhetoric in the same way Republicans did in 2013. When I supported that shutdown too, oh, y'all, I support government shutdowns. When the government shuts down, we're safe. It's the Democrats who hate government shutdowns, and yet the base is running headlong into it. And why? Let me read you part of this. This is from, God help me, the American Prospect. This is the first time I've ever read anything from this communist drivel on this program. Talks at the White House on Monday aimed at preventing government shutdown left both sides far apart on a deal. Earlier in the day, reports emerged that Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer would consider a 10-day extension of government funding if Trump agreed to negotiate on enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies that expire at the end of the year. Reaction to this was swift. You don't pick a fight and then run away, says Emma Leyden, managing director of P Street, the government relations arm of the Progressive Change Campaign Committee. Within a couple of hours, Schumer told reporters he would not back a short-term funding agreement under any circumstance. But one bigger problem with the conversation around government funding is the nature of the fight being picked. The negotiations and debates are operating under the premise that appropriations to federal agencies are flowing today and will stop flowing tomorrow. And that is something political leaders want to avoid. It's hard to uncover any evidence that this is truly the case. And essentially, the argument is that they're already defunding the government. Vought has been waiting for 4 years to implement his pre-20th century vision of supreme executive power that invests the prerogatives of government in one person. In a shutdown, the government can dictate which parts of the executive branch stay open. Vought has already been doing that. If it feels like the current fight isn't about health care or insurance subsidies, but about our system of government itself, that's because it is. David Dayton is the American Prospect's executive editor. And basically, like we're funding fascism. That's where the whole left is we're funding fascism. We should just shut it all down. This is an irreconcilable position that the Democrats have boxed themselves in. If you go back to 2013, I was on the side of Ted Cruz, who said, we're going to shut down the government until we get rid of Obamacare. And it was the establishment Republicans who sold us out. My position was keep the government shut down until you defund Obamacare. And all the establishment Republicans were like, absolutely not. You know, one of the guys who mocked the position was Matt Lewis, who now writes over at the Daily Beast. My position then and now is we should have kept the government shut down until Obama defunded Obamacare, until the votes were there to get it done. Hold the government hostage and be prepared to shoe at it. And no, we can't do that. We can't do that. We have to fund the government. We have other obligations. The democratic process worked. You lost. You couldn't do it. Okay. So we were undermined because they decided the democratic process worked. Well, now the Democrats are the ones saying we got to shut it down. We're funding fascism. If we shut down the government, ICE stops working. It's the only way to protect the illegal immigrants. And by the way, if we refund government, we want health care for illegal immigrants. I kind of chuckled this morning because I remember that debate in 2013 and guys like Matt Lewis on the other side of me who were saying, no, this you can't do this. You can't shut the government down. This is not a serious plan. We're not going to do this. And Matt and others now are pushing this position of basically shut down the government. We can't fund the fascists. That's where we are now. The Democrats have talked themselves into this. And they want to shut down the government because they want to stop the fascists. So I'm trying to find this piece from Matt Lewis from this morning. Blocking government funding is one of the only mechanisms at the disposal of a minority party to demonstrate their opposition. Moral outrage and pride practically demanded. Why be complicit in normalizing and funding Trump's behavior? But, that's where the Democrats are. Now, this is not Matt Lewis' position, though. You should know Matt is pointing out this is the rhetoric of the Democrats. The Democrats believe that Donald Trump is running a fascist regime. So you should shut it down. The opposition party is now trying to portray this looming shutdown as being about multiple things, and anyone who's ever cracked a marketing textbook knows that's a fraught strategy, dare I say doomed. If you can't stay on one message, your opponents will control the narrative. Republicans have a simple pitch. We just want to keep things funded at the current level, plus toss in a little extra security for lawmakers. Democrats are like, this is fascism. We got to have health care for illegal immigrants, and on and on and on and on. Look, I mean, he's right. He balked. Matt chastised me in 2013, and now he's pointing out to the Democrats, this is foolish. But the Democrats, they've got to fight this. You understand, the Democrats have to fight because they told their base Donald Trump's Hitler. The only tool at their disposal is to shut down Hitler's ability to wage fascism on America. That's it. That's the only way the Democrats can stop the second coming of Adolf Hitler is to stop the funding of the government. They control the power of the purse through their opposition and the filibuster. Stop Hitler by depriving him of his troops. You can't fund the brown shirts. It's well-settled American law. You cannot fund the brown shirts to go out and round up the illegals when the government is shut down. The Homeland Security is not going to go to work on that. The regulators who would undermine Obamacare and undermine the environment at the EPA, they can't go to work. If you shut down the government, you can't undermine the progressive advance of society if the employees who are designated to do it can't go to work. They don't have access to government computers. They don't have access to government phones. They're not allowed to go to their government offices. They're not allowed to do it if you shut down the government. That's the Democratic message. That's what the base wants. They want to fight. They want to fight. Fight Hitler. Fight the authoritarians. Fight the autocrats. Fight the tyrant. Shut him down. Shut down his ability to do anything. Except they're not going to. See, they're telling their base, this is a fight against a tyrant. But if the tyrant gives us health care for illegal immigrants, we'll open the government. That's not a message, but that's their message. And here's the funny part about it. If you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you can read this for yourself. I got it this morning with all the links. I did the research myself. Let me read you this. This is from a website called Government Executive. It is written by Donald Kettle, who actually knows his stuff. Just a momentary lapse in appropriations, a shutdown that lasts minutes, would give Russell T. Vogt, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, the power to tell agency leaders to move past usual furloughs, temporary non-duty, non-pay status, to RIFs, reductions in force, being permanently fired, Vote could choose the programs that the administration has been wanting to eliminate and give a very big haircut to others. The result would be dramatic, instantaneous shift in the separation of powers. Let me underline this. With the purse empty, OMB would seize the power of the purse from Congress. The administration could choose to prolong a shutdown for as long as it likes through poison pills and the negotiations with congressional Democrats and comb through the government to flatten programs it's been trying to cut. With this prospect looming, the administration has little incentive to do more than shed crocodile tears over a shutdown. And then when the shutdown is over, whenever the administration chooses to end it, those employees who were furloughed could come back on the payroll with back pay. Through a 2019 law, the employees who were reduced, who were fired, could not come back. Under the Anti-Deficiency Act, OMB would be well within its power to decide which programs could not continue. It could decide that programs that aren't accepted had to stop. It could then RIF employees working on those non-accepted programs and any other employees it chooses. Fired employees would have no appeal rights, and the government has no obligation to bring them back when Congress passes an appropriation. They'd be gone, and so would the programs they manage. And then remember, one of the side aspects of Project 2025, the actual legitimate part of Project 2025, not the nightmare scenarios of the left. Project 2025 started as a collection of resumes of MAGA, thoroughly vetted MAGA applicants ready to go into the government. So Russ Vought can fire all of the bureaucrats who lean towards the Democratic Party, reduce their numbers, and when these organizations are refunded, expand the ranks. And since the employees had been fired, they don't get to come back to their jobs. You can hire new people, the people out of the Project 2025 resume drawer, the MAGA acolytes. You embed them in government, and then they have civil service protection. And then with their civil service protection, the Democrats have just spent 9 months establishing legal precedent in the federal courts in D.C. that employees protected by civil service laws can't be ousted by the President of the United States. So the incoming Democrat will be stockpiled full of MAGA bureaucrats. The Democrats have played right into the trap.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1222 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Crash still working in the right lane in West Atlanta, 20 eastbound Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, exit 53. Over in DeKalb County, 285 both north and southbound. You got left lane construction both ways at Glenwood Road, exit number 44. Also heading southbound through Clarkston, there's that rolling left lane construction as they're cleaning up the median there. Traffic brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with nationwide LTE coverage. For a limited time, get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code radio and get an extra 5% off. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Okay, friends, it's the 5K Day Bonus Blitz. The noon keyword is taco, T-A-C-O, taco. Enter the keyword taco into the WSB Radio app or at WSBradio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword, win $1,000. The keyword is taco, T-A-C-O. Don't forget, if you get a phone call after 12:30 from a number you don't recognize, answer it. Could be us telling you you won $1,000. Good luck.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers if you think you have a problem. We all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now while you still have options.
How do we fight for our beliefs while still loving our neighbors and even our enemies? This is Tom Gray with This Stuff Matters, and I'm inviting you to join me and Eric Erickson for a great meal and a great discussion around this topic. Are we at a turning point for our country? Get your tickets at thisstuffmatters.net. Thursday night, October 16th, 7 o'clock, Governor's Gun Club in Kennesaw. This is Tom Gray, and This Stuff Matters.
Thisstuffmatters.net. Worried about market losses? If headlines are keeping you up at night, it's time to take control. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I know you've worked hard to save. But in times like these, what if can turn into what now? If you're planning to retire or are in retirement, you need a strategy that helps protect your future. At Trajan Wealth, you can capture market gains, protect your account from losses, and guarantee income for life. Right now, you could receive a bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. You heard me right. An upfront bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10%, all guaranteed to boost your lifetime income in retirement. Don't leave your future to chance. Plan with confidence. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company, DBA, in most states, as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Finding trustworthy people to properly fix your septic system can seem hopeless. Hi, I'm Shannon, owner of Scorpion Septic. Don't give up hope. Just read some of our 5-star reviews. Your neighbors know my trustworthy team will solve your septic problems on the spot.
Take the sting out of septic service with Scorpion Septic. Never a pump out charge with your repair. Get a free quote at scorpionsepticservices.com.
ScorpionSepticServices.com. This is Mike Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers.
And this is Jonathan Geller. And Dad, you ever think we're too honest in our commercials?
What do you mean?
Like telling people we've got the best prices in Atlanta.
It all comes down to the best jewelry at the best prices.
Maybe that's why folks have trusted us since 1939.
Exactly.
In Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Cue the jingle.
Affordable jewelry for everyone is at D. Geller & Son.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Taking the complicated and making it simple. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I need the attention of those of you in Ohio. Those of you listening live on WHIO, I've got a very large live stream audience across Ohio. Cleveland, got a big audience in Cleveland and in Columbus on the live stream. I need to talk to you. I've put Oklahoma on the map here and flagged some issues there, and now I need to flag one for those of you in Ohio. Your legislature is receiving legislation that would allow the public utility companies to automatically adjust your thermostat in your house to reduce load on the power grid during periods of high demand. They claim it'll be a voluntary program for now. I would be very weary of giving your power company access to control your thermostat. There's legislation in the state house happening now in Ohio. You probably want to kill it. Now, let me tell you about Hillsdale College, because they want to get you up to speed on American history and literature and so much more completely for free, no cost to you. You go to ericforhillsdale.com today and you can sign up with Hillsdale College, and you can take one of 40 different classes from Hillsdale College. It's a wonderful thing. You get some of the best faculty. The videos are 30 minutes each. Depending on which class you take, depends on the number of episodes. But that's it. That's what you do. ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up today, and you get smarter about a topic you're interested in. And the topic is your choice. From literature to chemistry to physics to math to economics to political science to history to philosophy, they're all there. 40 to choose from. Go to Eric, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com today. Sign up with Hillsdale College, take one of these great classes, get a certificate of completion at no charge to you from ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up today.
The U.S. is investing up to $1 billion to fight the spread of bird flu.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
Traffic congestion around Metro Atlanta continues to cost commuters.
And when it breaks.
The suspect is in critical condition after being struck multiple times.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News.
Weather.
Traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. We do have breaking news right now from DeKalb County. We understand a body's been found in a marshy area near Clifton Springs Parkway and Flat Shoals Road. The body found by dive teams. They were called in after police were called to the area by a family member for a welfare check. They say the family was reportedly concerned when they didn't hear from a person who had said they may have gone fishing. We'll bring you more on this breaking story as we get it. But what we know now, a body has been found in a marshy area near Clifton Spring Parkway there in DeKalb County. Your weather for today. Cloudy skies, a rain shower or storm possible throughout the afternoon and evening hours, and a high of 80, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. This is also new. The man accused of killing an off-duty Gwinnett County deputy will remain behind bars without bond. 43-year-old Eric Sumner of Swanee appearing in a Forsyth County courtroom today. He's charged with murder and aggravated assault with intent to murder. He's accused of killing Master Deputy Tamara Bartlett and injuring her teenage son during a domestic incident. Bartlett had been with the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office for nearly 2 decades. The clock is ticking on Congress, and if lawmakers can reach a deal on a spending bill before the midnight deadline leads to a government shutdown, U.S. airlines are warning that a government shutdown could cause flight delays for airports and travelers. The airlines warning Congress that if that government shutdown happens at midnight Wednesday, flights could be delayed as air traffic controllers and TSA employees would be required to work without pay. This shutdown comes as the nation is already facing a shortage of about 3,000 air traffic controllers. It's 12:32.
Got Joro spiders? Get Breda. Scott Slade here. These nasty black and yellow spiders weave huge webs, multiply quickly, and lay hundreds of eggs at a time. So if you see one, you better run, because it won't be long before you're overrun with massive webs. Just knocking down their web does not solve your problem. You need Breda to locate and destroy the spidey source.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
This is Wes Moss from Money Matters. You know, retirement is a lot like football. The best teams don't just show up on game day. They've got great coaches and a smart game plan. Without one, things go off the rails quickly. At Capital Investment Advisors, we would act as your retirement coach, building both the big picture strategy and the detailed plays that aim to help you score the retirement you want. Don't go into retirement with a bad playbook. Visit us at yourwealth.com. That's YOUR wealth.com.
Fall is a busy time, and selling your home can be overwhelming. Get a guaranteed cash offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and sell your home stress-free and for the most money. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can bypass the market, receive the strongest all-cash offer in the industry, and close in as little as 21 days. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams.
Still watching the brake lights in DeKalb County. Sabrina, 285 north and southbound around Glenwood Road. Left lane construction there. And 285 south, the rolling left lane construction continues in Clarkston, approaching Memorial Drive. Traffic brought to you by Rapid Radios. I'm Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Cloudy skies today with a few rain showers and thunderstorms rolling through this afternoon and evening. Today's high near 80. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, a little bit more sunshine with a high of 83. Mostly sunny on Thursday and trending cooler. Morning lows in the upper 50s. Daytime high 78.
74 degrees right now in Kennesaw, 75 in Clarkston. We'll have more news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome, it is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you. Although I got to make a couple of statements first before I get into any phone calls. I have talked about this before, and I need you to bear with me. Some of you will say this is a little bit iterative, and it kind of is. I acknowledge it, but we got a lot of new listeners, and I got to make this point about the bubble. I pick on CNN a lot because I worked there for a number of years. I have a lot of friends, and I'm just thoroughly disappointed in the network and how it has taken coverage and twisted it. So, I mean, for example, Abby Phillips is a struggle session of the left every night. Poor Scott Jennings. Every night he's got to be the one person with common sense there. And time again, we have this with CNN where they claim to be neutral, straight down the middle. What is a apple versus banana? And their editorial direction is exactly like MSNBC. They are so baked in. They brought in Chris Licht, who recognized the problem and might have not have had the force of personality to get change done. And you had the staff, the reporters, the anchors leaking to sabotage the guy's efforts when he recognized the network was no longer the neutral arbiter of truth. It was a left-wing operation. And they chased the guy out of the building for the audacity. Let's not forget why they chased him out of the building. He decided to platform Donald J. Trump, former president of the United States, in a town hall. And the staff were outraged. They gave the guy who would go on to be the 47th president of the United States a platform. That's why I want to pick on CNN and use this. We already know that MSNBC is very far left. We already know that MSNBC is progressive propaganda. But so is CNN, and that's the problem. Because the Democrats are in a bubble with these reporters, these anchors, these editorialists from not just MSNBC, but CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS, NPR, the New York Times, USA Today, the Washington Post, you name it, they're all in a bubble together. Reality is different inside that bubble. Occasionally there are voices that try to penetrate in. But to a large extent, editorially, they affirm each other. Ezra Klein, who is somebody the media pays attention to and the Democrats pay attention to, did a podcast where he cannot recognize the problem of boys and girls sports. He refuses to recognize that boys should not be in girls sports. On CNN, editorially, on CNN, boys in girls' sports are the victims, and the girls whose sports are being taken over by the boys, they're the bullies. On MSNBC, it's to an extreme, but it's already there at CNN. On CNN and MSNBC both, Donald Trump is overplaying his hand on illegal immigration. By the way, did you know there's polling out today? 54% of Americans support the deportation campaign being waged by Donald Trump. 54% of registered voters. In fact, the same polling shows Democrats are only up 2 on the generic ballot for Congress, which means they could potentially take the House of Representatives back, but there's no wave coming for the Democrats like they've expected. Democrats in their bubble have internalized with the media that so many people hate Donald Trump so much, there's going to be a massive wave of support for the Democrats. And they've been allowed to overplay their hand on these issues because CNN, the New York Times editorialist, the Washington Post, they all affirm the positions of the Democrats as being mainstream when they're not. Nate Cohn is a great pollster at the New York Times. He has a newsletter today. Trump is still unpopular in our poll. Why aren't Democrats doing better? The subtitle gives away the game. Disapproval of the president does not necessarily translate into support for the opposition. Mr. Trump's approval rating is at 43%, about the same as the 42% who approved in April. His disapproval rating is unchanged at 54%. Similarly, Democrats lead by 2 percentage points in the race for Congress. That's about the same as their 3-point lead in April. You can tell the same story about the economy, immigration, trade, Russia, and so on. Voters still think Mr. Trump is going too far, and they mostly disapprove of his handling of the most important issues, but his political standing hasn't gotten much worse over the last few months. My colleagues have the story here, along with a separate article on a reversal of support for Israel, with slightly more Americans now saying they sympathize more with the Palestinians than Israel. We didn't ask how voters viewed the Democratic Party in this poll, but our questions about immigration nonetheless help illustrate why disapproval of Mr. Trump does not translate into support for Democrats. Overall, Mr. Trump's approval rating on immigration isn't great, with 46% approving and 52% disapproving. More specifically, a slim majority, 51%, say Mr. Trump is going too far on immigration. Now, that conflicts with the Reuters poll that shows 54% support what he's doing. Only 44% think the deportation effort has been fair. May look like an opportunity for Democrats, but here's the catch. 54% say they support deporting illegal immigrants. 51% say the government is mostly deporting people who should be deported. In other words, a majority of voters support Mr. Trump's core objective, and they think the administration is mostly deporting the right kind of people. To the extent that a majority disapprove, it seems to be mostly about the excesses of the execution of the policy. For someone who is in the majority on each of these questions, you can see why that person might not be inclined to support Democrats. Would you rather have a president who goes too far in pursuit of a goal you support, or would you rather have a president who isn't committed to the goal you support, or might even oppose it altogether? Nate Cohen is trying to get the people of the hive mind inside the bubble to understand what's happening here. But he can't. The Democrats don't want to hear it. The voices who form the editorial positions and news gathering direction of CNN and the New York Times, MSNBC, they can't process this. And so they're in a feedback loop now. And it's a self-reinforcing feedback loop that pushes the Democrats further and further left. The boys are the victims, not the girls, in girl sports. The boys in the boys' bathroom who don't want the girls in the bathroom, they're the bad guys. The girls are the heroes of the story invading the boys' bathrooms. The criminals, the poor criminals are being treated too harshly by Donald Trump. Sending in the National Guard to clean up the streets and make it safe for people, that goes too far because we should expect there to be crime in cities. Rounding up illegal immigrants, well, that's just cruel. It's just cruel. How dare they? And the media nods and affirms. The media says, yes, the Republicans have gone too far. They're cruel. Democrats, you need to double down. And then you have the voices of CNN. Just take the anchors at CNN, many of whom I know and respect, who use the phrase the big lie to talk about the 2020 election and Trump's claims of stealing it. The big lie has a specific historic meaning. The big lie specifically refers to Hitler and the Nazis blaming the Jews. And when CNN anchors use the phrase the big lie, they are directly tying Donald Trump and his supporters to the Nazis of Nazi Germany. And they're smart enough to know what they're doing. The Democrats are the ones who came up with using the phrase the big lie explicitly to tie Donald Trump and his supporters to Hitler and the Nazis. And it was embraced by virtually every single anchor at CNN. And again, we don't have to even talk about MSNBC, which has gone overboard zealously to tie Donald Trump to the Nazis, but CNN by its own rhetoric did. And so now you get to a shutdown, a government shutdown upon us. And the Democrats have decided that Donald Trump is a Hitler-like person who wants to bring Nazism to the United States. He embraced the big lie, according to the supposedly objective anchors of CNN, who refer to Donald Trump as an authoritarian, who you have on Morning Joe, Michael Beschloss, saying that you got to stop the authoritarians, you got to do something. You now have the progressive podcast bros out there saying Donald Trump is a total fascist and he's got to be stopped, and the only way to stop him is to shut down the government so Donald Trump's brown shirts can't deport illegal aliens. And you have the media saying, yes, 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 preach, preach, come on our shows and talk about it. I'm looking at CNN right now. We'll get to Pete Hegseth here in a little bit. On CNN right now, they have on a female member of Congress who's a Democrat, who was an Air Force veteran, who is poo-pooing Pete Hegseth, saying that the men and women of the United States military need to have the same standards for strength because the enemy doesn't care how much you can bench. The enemy doesn't care what your rucksack doesn't care that you're a female. So the men and the women of the American military, they got to have the same standards for performance. They got to have the same standards for weight, the same physical fitness standards. And you have on a Democratic member of Congress, a female Air Force veteran, saying how much this is nonsense because everything is done in opposition to Donald Trump and everything affirms the Democratic position. And there are no voices except the opinion pundits like Scott Jennings, who they sideline into the evening shows, who can come on and say this is madness. So the Democrats have no way to know they're walking into a trap this evening. In 11 hours, 14 minutes, and 30 seconds, as the clock at CNN helpfully counts down. They have no idea. They don't hear it from the voices on television who are the supposed objective analysts because those people are in the bubble with them. They don't hear it from the editorialists at the New York Times and the Washington Post because those people are in the bubble with them. They don't hear it from MSNBC because those people are in the bubble with them. Remember that clip I played you guys a couple weeks ago? It was Joe Scarborough talking to the mayor of Chicago. Joe Scarborough grew up in Florida, was a Republican member of Congress, is a little more connected to reality than most of the people at MSNBC. And he was trying to get the mayor to acknowledge that there is a crime problem in Chicago and more cops could help. And the mayor of Chicago refused. And the reaction of Democrats was not to acknowledge Joe Scarborough had a valid point, but to claim that Joe Scarborough was suddenly going back to the right. They attacked him for raising the awareness of crime because he was a lone voice within the bubble. And I know from my own side, when you're a lone voice inside the bubble telling the truth, you get beat up by everybody. If you can't get multiple people to echo you, they say, well, why are you lying? Everybody else is telling me this. Well, no, actually, I'm telling you the truth. Everybody else is lying to you. But it's hard to penetrate. And when you have the entirety of the media outside of Fox News and the editorial page of the Wall Street Journal echoing Democratic beliefs as being gospel truth, who's to tell the Democrats they're about to go off the cliff? There's nobody there to do it. And this drives them to more and more extremes. This drives them to embrace the criminal instead of the victim. It drives them to embrace the illegal alien instead of the legal alien. It drives them to embrace shutting down the government over stopping fascism, but being willing to reopen it if you fund health care for illegal immigrants. It drives them to support the boys and girls sports and the boys and girls bathrooms. It drives them to stake out positions that are radical and outside of reality for the American people, but inside the bubble are the valid, reasonable reasons. I can't play you the clip because of profanity in it, but Bill Maher on Friday night had a monologue where he said he couldn't even get Neil deGrasse Tyson, a noted scientist, to agree with him that boys should not be played in girls' sports. That is where the progressive bubble has gone, that people who are grounded in science have embraced what is not science, but a by faith proposition from the left. and there's no one inside the bubble to rein them back in. Bill Maher tries. God knows he tries. He's sounding more and more conservative these days, and he's not. He's just a liberal who realizes the poison of the wokeism. But the editorialists and the media, they can't tell the Democrats that, and now they've got the Democrats to this brilliant position of deciding they're going to shut down the United States government to stop fascism. But if the fascists will only fund health care for illegal immigrants and give NPR and PBS some extra money, they will gladly reopen the government to the fascist to continue his fascism and his Nazism. And the base of the Democratic Party can't believe it's happening. I can't believe the Democrats have gone this far. But there are no loud voices in the American media to tell the Democrats this is nuts, because all those loud voices agree with the Democrats and can't see what's coming.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still watching the road work on the east side. Rolling left lane construction, 285 southbound near Memorial Drive. And south of that, you got left lane construction both ways on 285 at Glenwood Road. Just found new right lane trouble, west side inner loop, 285 northbound past South Cobb Drive, exit 15. Traffic brought to you by the Harlem Globetrotters. This isn't just a game, it's a once-in-a-generational event. The Harlem Globetrotters 100-year tour. Come be part of a legacy that never stops. Get your tickets today at harlemglobetrotters.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
Online,
on the app,
where you get your news.
is where you'll live.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
Oh my God!
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
I just won $1,000.
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2 p.m.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Home improvement projects can be a stressful guessing game. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus, the highest level of communication. The Plus means siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. We'll make you comfortable and keep you informed with every step of your project.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus, siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Starting a business takes grit and fortitude, but to keep it going requires taking care of customers like family. That's our motto, and my family's been sticking to it for decades. Hi, this is Daniel Jape, and you can count on Jape Services to provide quality care and price transparency for your home's heating, cooling, and plumbing needs. At Jape Services, we're a family-run business, and I personally guarantee to treat you like family as well. JapeServices.com.
Jape Services.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
If you want to get a sense of this bubble that the media and the Democrats exist in together, well, consider this report. Politico has hired Cheyenne Daniels to cover the Trump White House. She started as a breaking news reporter in May, following a 3-year stint as a race and politics reporter for The Hill. She was a master's student at Northwestern University's journalism school, where on social media at the time she revealed she cried when Donald Trump was elected 4 years earlier because she knew, quote unquote, horrible things were to come. That's right. She tweeted, 4 years ago, I cried when I realized Donald Trump had been elected, knowing horrible things were to come. Now I'm in my apartment in D.C., hearing people cheering in the street, screaming that he has been defeated, and I'm crying once again, but for a very different reason. She also tweeted, Trump may have lost the election, but over 70 million people voted for him, and some of those voters were people who felt, like their demagogue, that my life as a black woman doesn't matter, that I shouldn't exist. I threatened the purity of white power. She's tweeted, Trump, oh, you don't deserve the truth people have thrown at you. Well, I don't deserve a racist, homophobic, sexist, misogynistic president. This is the woman who will now cover the Trump White House for Politico. A woman who hates Donald Trump and his supporters, who believes they're all racist, homophobic bigots. She is who Politico has put in charge of covering the Trump White House now. And they see nothing wrong with that. They continue to believe she will give fair and unbiased coverage. That is why you cannot trust the American media, and that is how the American media and the Democrats together exist in an echo chamber where they feed off each other, telling each other how virtuous they are and how awful the other side is, and they walk right into a shutdown trap set by the Republican Party. You can't take Politico seriously if they continue to put people like that in charge of supposedly objective news coverage. Not that you could take them seriously to begin with. Swiss America is warning people about a secret war on cash. The government is trying to steer you away from using cash. You encounter it all the time. You see where you're plastic only, credit cards only. This applies to digital currency as well. The government wants to be able to track what you're buying, where you're buying, and how to control it over time. Swiss America has been warning about this and wants to help you protect your assets. What you can do is get their report, The Secret War on Cash, completely for free by calling or texting 800-289-2646. The all-out war on cash includes digital forms of currency. It is spreading. Get The Secret War on Cash report completely free. All you do is mention Eric, E-R-I-C-K. When you call or text 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. Just mention Eric when you text 800-289-2646 or go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric. SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. Message and data rates may apply.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
This might help, young man. This might cure what ails you.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
I run a stupid little radio show. I don't care. Have fun.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
Your friend, Eric Von Hessler, the common sense host.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why the big wireless companies want you on an unlimited plan?
It's because they need you to help cover the cost of the 20-somethings who are using a lot of data every month. Fact is, according to the latest research studies, most people 50 and up, like me, only use 12 gigs or less each month. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. At Consumer Cellular, pick what suits your needs. Whether it's 1 gig, 5, 10, or unlimited, the point is, pay for exactly what you need and nothing more. We use the same towers as the big guys, but since we don't own and maintain them, we can pass the savings on to you. Our plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get the best customer service in the business. I want to invite you to join the millions of people who choose something better than big wireless. Because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. Happening right now, a body has been found in a marshy area near Clifton Spring Road in DeKalb County. This is near Flat Shoals Road Parkway. Dive teams on the scene now trying to recover the body. DeKalb Police and Fire called in for a welfare check by a family member, and they found a capsized boat. The family member was concerned after they did not hear from the person who may have gone fishing last night. We'll bring you more information as we get it, so check back for updates on this breaking story. Cloudy skies today. A few rain showers and storms are possible this afternoon and evening. Highs around 80, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes. The man accused of killing an off-duty Gwinnett County deputy is going to remain behind bars without bond. 43-year-old Eric Sumner of Suwanee appeared in a Forsyth County courtroom today. He's charged with murder and aggravated assault with intent to murder. He's accused of killing Master Deputy Tamara Bartlett and injuring her teenage son during a domestic incident. Bartlett had been with the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office for about 2 decades. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth telling hundreds of military officials that there will be an end to politically correct leadership in the U.S. military. Charlie D'Agata has more.
He mentioned 10 directives. It has to do with combat readiness. He was big on fitness. He said no more fatties, his words. Even in the Pentagon, up to the general level, there will be a fitness test, and that is a gender-neutral fitness test. He went into grooming. There'll be no more beards anymore. In his words, no more beardos.
Hegseth says promotion guidelines will be based on merit and not woke principles, and that anyone in the military who disagrees with his new directives should resign. The USDA has announced that millions of dollars in federal funding will be given to Georgia for Hurricane Helene recovery.
The state of Georgia will be receiving a little over $531 million in block grant funds to help address losses from Hurricane Helene that we sustained just over a year last year.
That's Georgia Agriculture Commissioner Tyler Harper. He says that the money will cover future economic infrastructure and timber losses caused by the storm. President Trump announcing that drug maker Pfizer will lower prices on several medications in the United States. The White House also planning to unveil a direct-to-consumer website for Americans to buy drugs. It'll be called Trump RX. The drug maker will launch sales of some of its drugs directly to consumers through the website.
We're working with other major pharmaceutical companies to secure similar agreements. Everyone understands that the status quo where Americans pay more for drugs, prescription drugs, and they pay more than foreign countries.
The president making that announcement at the White House, surrounded by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and others. Let's take a look at the markets right now. The Dow's down 108 at 46,207. NASDAQ and the S&P are also in negative territory. It's 103.
Y'all, at Omaha Steaks right now, everything is 50% off site-wide. It's the Red Hot Grillin' Sale, and the sale really is red hot. And as the temperatures have cooled, you want to be outside grilling. I have spent a lot of time around my grill and my smoker, but also think about this. School started back. You got kids, you're not sure what to have for dinner. You can go to Omaha Steaks, load up. They have ready-made main courses and sides and desserts. You can do all of your meal prep at omahasteaks.com. They make it easy, so you don't have to worry about what's for dinner. You've taken care of it, and you get 50% off. And at checkout, you'll see a promo code box, and if you put in ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, you get an extra $35 off, minimum order required. So you get $35 off, already 50% off site-wide savings. It's an incredible deal, an incredible value. All you have to do is go to omahasteaks.com, load up your cart with deliciousness. At checkout, you'll see the promo code box, and you put in ERIC, E-R-I-C-K. You'll save an extra $35 at omahasteaks.com.
Attention antique lovers, this weekend it's the Lakewood 400 Antique Market, located north of Atlanta on Georgia Highway 9, 2 miles south of Cumming. Visit their website at lakewoodantiques.com for more information. This weekend, don't miss the Lakewood 400 Antique Market.
This is Andy Harris, president at Coosa Valley Credit Union, where we believe in the power of human connection. When you call us, you're not greeted by a machine, but by a real person who's here to listen and assist you. Coosa Valley Credit Union. We're local, we're kind, and we're here for you.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing. Hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's Mark Aram here. Thankfully, there's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams.
Still watching the construction on the east side, Sabrina, 285 southbound, the inner loop approaching Memorial Drive. They're doing that left lane cleaning of the median, so they're blocking off that left lane, and that's causing delays from Lawrenceville Highway. Once you get past that, we've also had left lane construction on I-285 at Glenwood Road in both directions. And if you were traveling through downtown, a few brake lights starting in Midtown, 7585 south from 17th Street, down toward Cortlandt Street. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Cloudy skies today with a few rain showers and rumbles of thunder. Today's high near 80. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 83. Thursday, sunny and breezy with morning lows in the upper 50s. Daytime high 78.
It's 75 degrees right now in Dunwoody. Powder Springs has 77. Winder has 73 degrees. We'll have more news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Americans, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, if you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you can get the show notes, the podcast, the live stream, the Four Things to Know This Afternoon podcast, social media links, everything you need to stay in touch with the show. We've got to talk about the president and Pete Hegseth addressing the military, a 10-point plan to refocus the military in political correctness and strength training and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They got a lot that the president and Hegseth have decided they want to do to reform the military. They're calling it a warrior reset. A warrior reset. I want to say something out of the gate. Some of you will take issue with, because I know we're in tribes and we're not supposed to criticize our own these days. But I'll say it out of the gate and move on to a lot of praise for what Hegseth said. But I do want to say it was unnecessary to summon all of these people to be in person at Quantico, and the cost to the American taxpayers to make it happen so he could be on stage in front of a giant flag like George S. Patton and rally the troops. He could have done it by another means. It wasn't good stewardship to do it. That being said, it was a great speech. What I find very notable, and I do mean this very seriously, it is very notable. The Hegseth speech has been heralded by a lot of friends of mine who are veterans and currently in the military. They all like it. He unveiled a 10-point plan to refocus the military into a warrior mindset. 1, end politically correct leadership. 2, impose new physical fitness standards. 3, tackle ideological garbage. 4, eliminate anonymous complaints. 5, reinstate discipline and grooming standards. 6, focus on military strength. 7, emphasize merit. 8, redefine toxic leadership. 9, purge woke leadership. 10, revise personnel record retention policies. The only one that I would have complaints about is number 4, eliminating anonymous complaints. Why? because we know about a lot of the woke stuff that happened because of the anonymous complaints within the Biden administration. We should not want to undermine those. The media is having an absolute coronary over this speech. You've got on CNN right now, I've got them on in the background, on MSNBC, absolute meltdown over this speech. I want to begin, though, with the President of the United States, who also spoke at the event and rallying all of his generals and admirals, who said this.
George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Grover Cleveland, George Bush, and others all used the armed forces to keep domestic order and peace. Many of our leaders used the military to keep peace. Now they like to say, oh, you're not allowed to use the military. And you know what the people say? The people in those cities where they're being raped and shot and beat up, you know what they say? We love the military. You ever see where they interview the people on the street? I've never seen somebody say they don't, unless they're radical and paid off, because a lot of these insurrectionists are paid by, whether it's Soros or other people, but they're paid by the radical left. So today I want to thank every service member from general to private who has bravely helped us secure the nation's capital and make America safe for the American people. It's amazing. The whole world is watching.
One more from the President of the United States.
Not only are we rebuilding our great strength, but for the first time in years, my administration is actually using that strength to defend the core and vital interests of America. And very simply, we are putting America first. And I have since I've been elected. I've always put America first.
Always putting America first. Rebuilding the military wants to be a threat to any who would cause us harm. Now, that was the president kind of setting the stage here, but Hegseth gets really top billing here. Not technically, because the president always does, but this was his meeting. And the President of the United States wanted Pete Hegseth to be able to reset the military. They summoned the top brass to Quantico. Let me play you some of the speech here from Pete Hegseth. In case I missed it, Kobe, keep your finger on the trigger button. The Secretary of Defense oftentimes has a potty mouth. I don't think I heard any of it here, but just to be on the safe side, a double check.
Upholding and demanding high standards is not toxic. Enforcing high standards, not toxic leadership. Leading warfighters toward the goals of high, gender-neutral, and uncompromising standards in order to forge a cohesive, formidable, and lethal Department of War is not toxic. It is our duty, consistent with our constitutional oath. Real toxic leadership is endangering subordinates with low standards. Real toxic leadership is promoting people based on immutable characteristics or quotas instead of based on merit. Real toxic leadership is promoting destructive ideologies that are an anathema to the Constitution and the laws of nature and nature's God.
Oh my gosh, he's a Christian nationalist. Oh my gosh, he talked to Romans 1. I mean, that's what we're going to get from the media here that just can't handle actually wanting to have a military that's job is to fight wars. A little more from the Secretary of Defense.
This, and I want to be very clear about this, this is not about preventing women from serving. We very much value the impact of female troops. Our female officers and NCOs are the absolute best in the world. But when it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. That is not the intent, but it could be the result. So be it. It will also mean that weak men won't qualify because we're not playing games. This is combat. This is life or death. As we all know, this is you versus an enemy hell-bent on killing you. To be an effective, lethal fighting force, you must trust that the warrior alongside you in battle is capable, truly physically capable of doing what is necessary under fire. You know this is the only standard you would want for your kids and for your grandkids. Apply the War Department Golden Rule, the 1990 test, and the E6 test, and it's really hard to go wrong.
Essentially, wants to go back to the era before Barack Obama where they broke down standards and go back to the old harder tests for basic training that you gotta be able to qualify for. And if women can meet the standards, women can meet the standards. But you know, it makes a good point. Your ruckback, it doesn't care whether you're male or female. You got to have all the equipment in it. The enemy doesn't care whether you're male or female. You got to be able to meet some standards. One more from him on, if you don't like what you're hearing, resign.
But if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign. We would thank you for your service. But I suspect, I know, the overwhelming majority of you feel the opposite. These words make your hearts full. You love the War Department because you love what you do, the profession of arms. You are hereby liberated to be an apolitical, hard-charging, no-nonsense, constitutional leader that you joined the military to be. We need you locked in on the M, not the D, the E, or the I, not the DEI or the DIE of dime. By that I mean the M, military, of the instruments of national power.
Listen, as I said, I don't think there was a need to summon all of them at that cost to Quantico. But set that aside. I can't find anything I disagree with in the speech. Either what the president said or what Pete Hegseth said. You see, the Democrats have decided that the greatest use of our military is to advance social justice in the United States. And the reason is because Democrats have embraced the idea, minus, of course, Woodrow Wilson, who they don't like to admit was one of their own and did it, who segregated the military. The military has, by and large, been an institution that desegregated ahead of the rest of the country. Pete Hegseth said today the enemy doesn't care whether you're a male or a female. They want to kill you. Well, they didn't care whether you were black or white. You were an American. They wanted to kill you. And the military desegregated. And because of that, people would leave the military under a desegregated society and back into segregated American society. And it caused a lot of people to change their minds on segregation. And the Democrats have valued the military as a tool for social change in the United States. So Barack Obama and Joe Biden decided to lower health standards and lower physical fitness standards to allow in others. They then allowed in trans troops who aren't capable of fighting on the front lines because of the medication and surgeries and everything else. They've allowed in every class of American and then some, whether or not those people were actually capable of carrying out their core purposes. And we saw, for example, go back to after 9/11, the number of people who had been let in under the Clinton administration, young people who suddenly were called up to war, like, I came for a degree. I didn't come to fight for this country. I just came to get college paid for. And we saw that again with Obama and with Biden as well, when they used the military for things, and the woke troops were like, I came to get a college degree. I didn't come to fight for this country. If you go into the military, you should be prepared to kill bad guys or be killed by bad guys for your country. And Obama and Biden got away from that, and they embraced wokeism. They embraced nonsensical social justice positions within the military. Now, there are those who cannot stand Donald Trump or Pete Hegseth who are not going to appreciate what they did, who will blast them and condemn them for giving this sort of speech. Because what they don't want to acknowledge is actually that Barack Obama and Joe Biden compromised the fitness of our military. Y'all, we can't build submarines. The submarines we have in dry dock can't come out. We can't build ships. We're struggling to build missiles and bullets. Barack Obama and Joe Biden both were terrible for our military. They upended the supply chain. They destabilized the market forces within the defense sector. They wanted to use the military not for war fighting, but for social causes in the United States. They're upset that Donald Trump wants to use the military to go into cities and clean up the crime. They wanted to use the military to advance transgenderism. And along comes Pete Hegseth, who recognizes that one of the things Obama and Biden both did is they elevated a bunch of people into leadership. And in elevating them into leadership, made sure they were reliable progressives. And Pete Hegseth is saying, get out. Get out. We don't want you here if you're here for social justice. We want you here to kill bad guys. That's a message that the military needed to hear. That's a message that much of the top brass, elevated by Obama and Biden for very specific social justice goals, diversity goals, and quotas, it's a message they need to hear. If you're committed to the American military as a killing machine, stay. If your commitment to the American military is for diversity, equity, and inclusion, leave. I don't know that we needed to summon all of them to Quantico, but I know they needed that message. And so good for Hegseth and Trump for doing it. And here's the tell. I have a lot of friends who are veterans, a lot of friends who are active duty military, and every single one of them, without exception, liked what they heard. It was the CNNs and the MSNBCs and the reporter class in Washington and the woke progressives who hated it, which tells me everything I need to know. Pete Hegseth was right over target.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
121 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. All lanes briefly blocked in Doraville, 285 eastbound, the inner loop right at I-85, exit 33. DeKalb Police and Hero escorting a stall from the left lane to the right shoulder. If you continue southbound into Clarkston, you'll be slow, 285 south, the inner loop from Highway 78, pretty much down toward Glenwood Road with left lane construction. Also left lane blocked on 285 north, the outer loop at Glenwood Road. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Save on fall favorites now through September 30th at Whole Foods Market, your headquarters for pumpkin spice delights, all the flavors of fall and more. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000.
$1,000 on WSB.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2 p.m.
That is awesome.
From 95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
Remodeling your home's exterior requires expertise, experience, and attention to detail. That's what I built my business on. Hi, I'm Scott Nelson, owner of Nelson Exteriors. I'm the siding and windows expert you hear on the Home Fix-It Show, with decades of experience for all things exterior. Windows, siding, painting, roofing, decks, doors, and gutters, all with unmatched quality and craftsmanship. Even the small details are a big deal to us. Get your free estimate, Google Nelson Exteriors.
If you've been taught that all bread is unhealthy, I'm here to tell you not if it's real bread. Hi, I'm Sue Becker from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. If you're struggling with weight gain, high cholesterol, constipation, even warts, or kids who seem to be constantly sick, come visit us at the Bread Becker store in Woodstock, where we have taught thousands of customers that real bread might be their healthy solution. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've studied the incredible health benefits of real whole grains and bread. I discovered that store-bought bread has had most of the nutrients in the grain removed during milling, and yes, even packages labeled 100% whole wheat. Make a healthy eating change in your life at Bread Beckers in Woodstock. We'll show you how bread, but only real bread, might be the answer to your family's physical ills. The Bread Beckers. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Belinda here with another satisfied patient with a great story to tell you about Atlanta Vision Institute. Lisa had the laser optics procedure. Why did you choose Atlanta Vision Institute?
Well, I'd been wearing contacts or glasses for the last 50 years and decided one day that I'd had enough. I have an active lifestyle and the glasses just were getting in the way.
Now, after the procedure with Dr. Ashraf at Atlanta Vision Institute, what were the results like?
It was amazing. I could see the highway signs from far away, and I was able to thread the needle on my sewing machine without any help.
Nobody can do that. That's amazing. Folks, if you feel like you're at your wit's end with your vision, why don't you go see Dr. Ashraf at Atlanta Vision Institute? Go to 2020atlanta.com and see if you're a candidate for the laser optics procedure. Go to 2020atlanta.com.
With our weather extremes, I wanted windows that would stand the test of time. Hi, it's meteorologist Glenn Burns, and I found them. I love my Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows from North Georgia Replacement Windows. I was blown away. They're energy efficient and incredibly durable, 8 times stronger than vinyl, so they last. Experience the fiberglass difference at your home or in their new Alpharetta showroom.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why the big wireless companies want you on an unlimited plan? It's because they need you to help cover the costs of the 20-somethings who are using a lot of data every month. Fact is, according to the latest research studies, most people 50 and up, like me, only use 12 gigs or less each month. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. At Consumer Cellular, pick what suits your needs. Whether it's 1 gig, 5, 10, or unlimited, the point is, pay for exactly what you need and nothing more. We use the same towers as the big guys, but since we don't own and maintain them, we can pass the savings on to you. Our plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get the best customer service in the business. I want to invite you to join the millions of people who choose something better than big wireless. Because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. All the information without the spin. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you know how impressive Donald Trump is on immigration and deportation? Just how strong the man is on the issue, you think you know. But I want to put this in perspective for you. Imelda and Umberto have decided to self-deport. That's right. For the first time in documented history. It's probably happened before, but in documented history, Imelda and Umberto have decided to self-deport. They are 2 hurricanes. And Imelda was expected to make landfall in South Carolina, but Umberto came up alongside it, got close to the United States, and thought, I'm going to self-deport over to Europe. So Umberto turned to the European side of the Atlantic and is pulling Imelda away from the United States. It was expected to make landfall in South Carolina later this week, and now they're calling it the binary Fujiwara interaction between Hurricanes Umberto and Hurricane Imelda, expecting to stall Imelda 150 miles off the South Carolina coast and then pull the system out to sea. It's going to cause, here where I am in middle Georgia, we've got overcast skies and occasionally drizzly, and that is because of Imelda. But there is a front coming through towards the southeast, and then the interaction between the front and Umberto. Imelda and Umberto have decided to self-deport, sparing the United States the landfall of a giant hurricane. I bet they'd both make landfall if Joe Biden were president, not with Donald Trump in Washington, scowling at them saying, don't you come here, we'll send Tom Homan after you. So now they're going to go affect Bermuda and the Europeans instead. Now I need to tell you about Vision Computer. If you go to visioncomputer.com or go to call them at 404-COMPUTE, They can build you a new computer. In fact, I read the other day that the big box store that you buy your electronics for, they're shutting down some of their tech support systems, and they're sending people to AI now for tech support. At Vision Computers, you'll get a special phone number where if you rely on their squad of people to help you, you actually talk to a live human operator. No AI, an actual human being helps you. You call them in 15 seconds or less, somebody, a human being, answers the phone. And you get answers from a human being who can even remote into your computer to be able to fix your computer. Call them at 404-COMPUTE. Any one of you nationwide can take advantage of this. Any business, listen, you businesses, you know your employees want to talk to an actual human when they have a computer problem and you can't afford the in-house guy. Use Managed IT from Vision Computers. They will save you money. They will keep you up to date. They'll keep you up and functioning. And your employees don't have to talk to an AI system. They talk to a human being. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Let Vision Computers take care of you.
Get the WSB Radio app.
This story is breaking right now.
Get notifications from your source for news.
If you have the WSB Radio app, then you saw the breaking news.
Get the WSB Radio app.
Don't miss a thing with the WSB app.
Download it from the App Store today.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. A body's been found in a marshy area near Clifton Spring Road and Flat Shoals Road Parkway in DeKalb County. Dive teams on the scene trying to recover the body. DeKalb police and fire were called in for a welfare check by a family member, and they found a capsized boat. They were concerned after they didn't hear from the person who may have gone fishing last night. Your weather for today: cloudy skies, a few rain showers and storms possible throughout the afternoon and evening, highs around 80, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. The football game between two historically black colleges set for Saturday is no longer going to be held at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. No word yet on where the Georgia Football Classic between Florida A&M and Mississippi Valley State is going to take place. Fans who got their tickets through Ticketmaster will get automatic refunds. It is unclear what caused the venue change and if the kickoff time, which is currently 4 o'clock, will change or not. Georgia farmers impacted by Hurricane Helene getting a little help from the federal government. The USDA announcing $531 million in grant money is coming to Georgia to cover losses here. Georgia Ag Commissioner Tyler Harper says the money's going to go to those areas that traditional programs don't cover.
Things like timber and poultry and infrastructure losses and other commodities like certain specialty crops and nurseries that we typically don't see USDA programs covering those gaps and disasters.
Now, this block grant funding is part of the $30 billion disaster assistance relief effort authorized by the American Relief Act. Consumer confidence edged lower in September. The Conference Board's confidence index fell more than 3 points to its lowest reading since April. Concerns about higher prices and inflation topping the list of worries for most Americans. Purchasing plans for cars weakened while buying intentions for homes jumped to a 4-month high in September. It's 1:32.
Two houses, same neighborhood, nearly identical on paper, but one had an orchard sign and it sold for a lot more. So what gives? Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler. The first seller went the trad route. Agent, open houses, price drops, long size, and eventually they gave in and settled for less. The second seller, they went with Orchard. Orchard didn't just list the home, they launched it. Their local agent knew which upgrades would get attention, brought in the right team, and handled everything like a well-oiled home selling machine. Oh, and they also let the seller move first with Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program. That means no showings while living in a half-packed house, no buyers judging your choice of throw pillows, just peace, quiet, and top dollar. One got stress, the other got smart. Don't settle. Sell the smart way with Orchard. Start with a free home valuation at orchard.com. That's orchard.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Let's see, it's still hot out, but football is back. That makes this September. Dave Baker here. Cool Ray says you can stay comfortable and watch football. They're offering up to $2,250 back in rebates and free installation with the purchase of a complete carrier system. And you know proper installation is important. It's like a sidekick for your HVAC, keeping cool air in and hot air out. Call or go online at coolray.com to book your appointment today. Cool Ray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
Alex Williams, how are we doing on the road?
Still watching the construction on the east side, Sabrina. I'm actually seeing some windshield wipers on. Might be a spotty shower over there in DeKalb on 285, where left lane blocked both ways with this road work at Glenwood Road, exit 44, and some volume into downtown starting on I-85 southbound at the Georgia 400 merge. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Cloudy skies with a few rain showers and rumbles of thunder later on today. Highs in the upper 70s to low 80s.
It is 75 degrees in Covington and Monroe. Norcross, you have 76 degrees right now. More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. If you wish to be on the program, I would be happy to have you with me. Friends, we have to talk about something you might think is boring, but I do not think it's boring. Not only do I not think it's boring, I think it's coming soon. My goal here sometimes, it's not just to cover the news of the day, and there is a lot of news of the day to cover, but it's to anticipate some of the things that are coming down the pike that I want to prepare you for. Because I think you deserve to be smarter than all the other people in your circle of friends. And one of those things is understanding a phrase. That phrase is the unitary executive. Some of you think you might know what I mean by unitary executive, but I got to break it down for you in simple terms because we're about to hear a series of cases of the Supreme Court. They're meeting this week, the Supreme Court is. They formally start next week, but they're having conversations this week about the cases that they will take. And many of the cases the Supreme Court has on tap already and is about to take are about the unitary executive power. Here's one of the problems with American discourse, and I'm looking at the American media for this. The American media hires a bunch of people, let's take Tuggan Tubin at CNN, who say that a lot of things are fringe among legal scholars when they are not. Take, for example, the major powers question. The major powers doctrine is if the Supreme Court, if Congress does not clearly delegate a major power of Congress to an executive branch agency, well, that agency can't exercise major questions doctrine. If Congress designates power to an agency, but it's a major substantive change in government. It's massive, it's costly, it completely reinterprets a statute. A vast economic or political significance to the country, Congress is presumed not to have delegated that. Now, the major questions doctrine has been treated as a fringe doctrine by the people who comment on television, but the major questions doctrine, I call it major powers because
it has shifted names over time, but it goes back to the 1990s. And even before that, when it was the major powers of Congress being delegated to the executive, over time it evolved into the major questions of political and economic consequence for the country. Did Congress really provide to give that authorization? And the rule that the Supreme Court has articulated is that state and federal agencies cannot take action of vast economic and political significance unless Congress has clearly authorized them to do so. But when you hear this in the national press, they refer to it as a fringe belief. My favorite one, and not to call out my buddy David French on this, but I'll call out David French, who is an excellent constitutional scholar, whether you like him or not. But David French wrote a column in the New York Times about how obvious it was that the 14th Amendment could allow the Secretary of State of the state of Colorado to keep Donald Trump off the ballot for a primary. It was as obvious to me that that was not so, but the media didn't want to platform me to say this is nonsensical. That it wasn't a power of the states to do, and that the clauses of the 14th Amendment made very clear that it was Congress that had to act, not the states, that the states could not act without explicit constitutional control. In a 9-0 decision, 9-0, the United States Supreme Court sided with my position on this, that of course a Secretary of State could not preclude the Republicans from putting Donald Trump on the ballot for the Republican primary in Colorado or Michigan or Maine or anywhere else for that matter. It was obvious. But the media chose to platform all the people who said this is a fringe theory, that the courts would block the state from doing it. No. Of course it's a mainstream theory that the states can do this. Never been done before, but it's a mainstream theory. It was nonsense. Time and time again, the American mainstream media platforms progressive legal theorists who declare that the conservative position is fringe. And in part, it's designed to discredit the conservative majority of the Supreme Court. It's designed, frankly, to provoke the assassination attempt that we saw on John Kavanaugh. To declare that it was some sort of fringe position to get rid of Roe v. Wade, for example. Roe v. Wade itself was a fringe position, contrived by an all-male Supreme Court in 1973 after 2 centuries of states having bans on abortion. Suddenly it was a divine right found in the Constitution. No, it wasn't. It took 40 years to get rid of it, and suddenly this is a major rollback in rights. No, there's an entire mythology built around preserving Roe v. Wade that the national mainstream media has encouraged. And what they can't deny is that for 200 years in this country, there was, in fact, expressly bans on abortion. Only when 9 men in black robes got together and 5 of them said so in Roe v. Wade in 1973 did suddenly, that's been a right of the Constitution all this time. Ironically, it was a majority with a woman involved who rolled back Roe v. Wade. It was all the men who, frankly, wanted to be able to excuse abortions for their mistresses and their kids and things like that. But the media wanted you to know it was a fringe position to try to get rid of Roe v. Wade. And so now the media is going to start telling you the unitary executive theory is a fringe theory. It's not. The unitary executive theory is baked into the United States Constitution. Allow me, if you will, to read for you Article 1 of the United States Constitution, Section 1. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. Who writes the laws in the United States? The Senate and the House of Representatives. The Senate and the House of Representatives. So, is there any other group that can write laws? No. This gets to the major questions doctrine. If Congress explicitly grants an agency power, then that agency has power. But if that agency is reading its power grab to upend the political or economic dynamics of the United States in a significant way, and Congress hasn't explicitly told them they're allowed to do that, then the major questions doctrine says, no, this is for Congress, not for you. Why? Because Article 1, Section 1 says all legislative power is granted or vested in a Congress, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. That's it. That's who makes the laws of the United States. So now what about the executive power? Here's what the Constitution says. The executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States of America, a unitary executive. The very first sentence of the second article of the Constitution says the executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States, not a president and his cabinet, not a president and quasi-independent agencies, not a president and others, but a president. The legislative power is invested in a Congress that shall consist of a House of Representatives and a Senate. The executive power is vested in a president of the United States. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. Only with the executive do we have this theory proffered by progressives over time that the executive power can be split up between the president and other people. Nobody makes that argument about the judicial system. Nobody makes that argument about Congress. But they make that argument about the presidency, claiming that a president and others can exercise the executive power. What the Constitution says is the executive power is vested in a president who has the power to form a cabinet based on officials concocted by Congress. So Congress gets to expand the cabinet of the president, but they report to the president, not to the Congress. Again, this is all written in the document. The president shall be the commander-in-chief of the Army and the Navy and of the militias of the several states when called into the actual service of the United States. Again, this gets to the idea that the president can call up the National Guard of Oregon and become the commander-in-chief of it because it's in the service of the United States. He may require the opinion in writing of the principal officer in each of the executive departments upon any subject related to the duties of their respective offices. In other words, he has the power to ask people underneath him for information. But also, you should note, it's not prescribed that he has a cabinet unless Congress approves it. He's got the power, with advice and consent of the Senate, to make treaties. He can nominate, with the advice and consent of the Senate, appoint ambassadors and other public ministers and councils, judges of the Supreme Court, and all other officers of the United States whose appointments are not herein otherwise provided for, and which shall be established by law. So there are restraints. The Congress may by law vest the appointment of such inferior officers in the president alone, in the courts, or in the heads of departments. So the Constitution gives those cabinet officers the power to make some appointments themselves, but it doesn't say anything about regulation. It doesn't say anything about giving them power. It says the power is vested in a president of the United States. That is the unitary executive theory. It's written into the Constitution. And yet for the last 75 years, liberal law professors have said it's nonsense. The Supreme Court conservative majority, which is the first conservative majority we've had in a very long time, is headed towards the unitary executive because that's the plain reading of the Constitution of the United States. that the president can hire and fire at will those underneath him within the executive branch. And the left is upset about it. They're upset that the Supreme Court might get rid of Humphrey's executor. We've talked about it before. Humphrey's executor was a Supreme Court case that said the president can't hire and fire the independent agency appointees, but for cause. And the president has started firing him, and the Supreme Court seems to indicate that, yeah, we're ready to get rid of Humphrey's executor, which was always an anomaly. Now, that raises all sorts of questions about the Federal Reserve. But for the other federal agencies, the Federal Reserve has some outside picks who are also on the Federal Reserve Board that gives Congress or the courts a way to thread the needle on the Federal Reserve, but on the FTC, on the FAA, on the FDA, on, you name the federal agency, the FCC, those are all the people on those boards, they're all appointed by the president. Now, there has to be balance between Democrat and Republican to get anything done. The law requires that some be Democrats, some be Republicans. So the law restrains how the president can appoint and who the president can appoint. But as for firing them, seems like he's allowed to under the unitary executive theory. Now, here's the punchline and the kicker for Republicans. This gets to tariffs. The unitary executive cannot be given the major powers of the Congress that have economic and political ramifications, because that violates the major questions doctrine that conservatives have cheered. So conservatives, here's your box in. You believe in the unitary power of the president and you believe in the major questions doctrine. Conservatives have championed both. But you're about to be boxed in by the major questions doctrine when the president is affirmed as the unitary executive by the Supreme Court. Why? Because the way you constrain the president of the United States is by prohibiting him from exercising the powers of the Congress, which is probably going to throw tariffs out the door while expanding the power of the president to hire and fire who he wants in the executive branch. Oh, the irony for both sides.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
151 Coolray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. It's gotten very slow into downtown, 75-85 southbound. DOT reporting a little bit of maintenance in the left lane right around William Street. I'm going to check and see if that's actually there, but it's stacked in, leaving the 85-400 merge. And the left lane construction continues both ways into cab, 285 north and southbound at Glenwood Road, exit 44. Traffic brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Get ready for another Powerball jackpot tomorrow. Powerball players can win millions playing in-store or online at GALottery.com, only from the Georgia Lottery. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
In Atlanta, there is always something happening.
Tanker truck crashed into the median.
The Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
No traffic getting through in either direction.
Helping you on your commute.
Avoid the area at all costs. Take Highway 155 or Highway 4223.
Brought to you by the Coolray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
We're having a party and you're invited. Join CenterWell Senior Primary Care for our free grand opening party. Come meet our care team and tour the new center. Plus, food, music, games, and more. Celebrate with CenterWell Woodstock on Thursday, October 16th at the corner of Bells Ferry Road and Eagle Drive from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Learn more at CometoCenterwellGeorgia.com. That's CometoCenterwellGeorgia.com. We'll see you soon.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Right now, Autumn Crisp Green Seedless Grapes are on sale for only $1.77 a pound with your digital coupon. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. I know what's important to you when you're looking for a new deck. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. And when it comes to new decks, pretty much anything you can imagine, Ben Hill can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers. Or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1960. 1964.
This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union, inviting you to come see us for your auto loan needs. If you're buying a car or refinancing your current auto loan, at Coosa Valley Credit Union, you'll get one of the lowest interest rates in the market, as low as 3.49 APR when you open an account with a direct deposit. Coosa Valley Credit Union is local and nearby in Northwest Georgia. Plus, you'll always speak to a real person when dealing with us. That's what we call kinder banking.
Contact 706-235-8551 for more details. Equal Opportunity Lender.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm thrilled with my Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass Windows. Hi, it's meteorologist Glenn Burns, inviting you to North Georgia Replacement Windows' brand new Alpharetta showroom. I was blown away. Bring your window and door project to life here. See the fiberglass difference in person. Your stress-free experience includes a quick, accurate proposal, no pressure. Window and door shopping made simple.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah.
This is Greg Trusinski from the Original Mattress Factory. I want to share the story of a couple I worked with recently. After receiving a quote from a competitor for a mattress, they visited OMF and found a mattress that was a great fit for them. They were so pleased with our quality and value that they ended up purchasing 2 mattresses, a box spring, headboard, and frame. Their total at OMF was roughly $400 less than what they would have spent on just the one mattress at the competitor. If you're ready to get better sleep for less, visit us at originalmattress.com.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
He may not tell you what you want to hear, but he tells you what you need to hear. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Hello there. It is Eric Erickson here. John, let's go to you up first today. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you, sir. It's nice to talk to you finally. Well, I met you in person in Tulsa.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Well, wait, thanks for calling in.
There was an ice skating rink and a very nice pub and grill.
Yes.
Very nice stuff. I'm an attorney in Oklahoma, so I've been through law school as you have. The supremacy clause, what you were talking about earlier, that's my main thing. It's like, okay, so how can a state just totally deny what the Constitution of the United States says? And you've quoted it very appropriately, but the problem is the Democrats don't care what the Constitution says. They don't care.
That's true.
And that's why you get people saying, oh, well, Trump can't even be on the ballot in the primary. I'm like, really? Have you read the Constitution? Can you read?
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand it. It's like, okay, well, even a non-lawyer, even a non-educated lawyer can read it and say, okay, well, that doesn't make sense.
Right. Yeah, and for the and you know, let me just say here, John, for what John's talking about, the supremacy clause is Article 6 of the Constitution. This Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary, notwithstanding. The Constitution, the laws, and treaties of the U.S. override everything else, excepting certain parameters related to Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, where Congress doesn't have power. That's a very basic thing you got to understand that the left loves to use when they're in power and pretends they never heard of when they're out of power. Old Glory Bank would love to be your bank. If you felt out of power these last few years by progressive dominance and culture, well, Old Glory Bank was started just for that sort of thing. You go to oldglorybank.com, oldglorybank.com/Eric, actually, and you can get an account. It takes less than 8 minutes to sign up at Old Glory Bank. They're a bank by conservatives for conservatives. If you're a veteran or a first responder, they have great deals for you. If you're active duty military, you should check them out. They're an online bank, but they've made it easy to deposit cash. You can do mortgages, you can do car loans, you can do CDs. They've got great savings accounts. They've got premium accounts that, again, if you're in the military, you may be able to get the fees waived for. You go to oldglorybank.com/Eric today to sign up.
and get more information from them. OldGloryBank.com/Eric, OldGloryBank.com/ERICK. Sign up with Old Glory Bank today. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta,
Cobb County Medical Examiner's Office identifies 57 sets of cremains.
if it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta,
Massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
we've got it covered.
Atlanta jurors convict a former Customs and Border Protection officer.
Your 24/7 news source.
Covering the stories that impact you.
Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story, the clock ticking toward a government shutdown tonight. The Senate scheduled to vote this afternoon on competing proposals to fund the government. Both are expected to fail. Without a deal, the government will partially shut down just after midnight. The head of the Georgia Chamber of Commerce says a government shutdown would have a major impact on our state.
Our state's economy is so broad, everything from poultry to research and development, and all of those things are impacted by the federal government. And we did see impacts, particularly in the ag industry last time and then in the small business sector.
Georgia Chamber President and CEO Chris Clark says many industries in the state will be affected by a shutdown, especially companies who are working under government contracts. He's calling on Congress to work out a deal to keep the government open. It is 80 degrees in Atlanta, and we'll have a few rain showers around today and cooler weather on the way later this week. Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. Georgia farmers are getting financial help from the federal government.
The USDA announces $531 million in grant money is coming to Georgia to cover agricultural losses from Hurricane Helene. Georgia Ag Commissioner Tyler Harper says the money is going to go to those areas that traditional programs don't cover.
Things like timber and poultry and infrastructure losses and other commodities like certain specialty crops and nurseries that we typically don't see USDA programs covering those gaps and disasters.
This block grant funding is part of the $30 billion disaster assistance relief effort authorized by the American Relief Act. Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
A body is found in a marshy area near Clifton Springs Road and Flat Shoals Parkway in DeKalb County. Dive teams are on scene trying to recover the body. DeKalb police and fire were called in for a welfare check by a family member, and they found a capsized boat. They were concerned after they didn't hear from that person who may have gone fishing last night. As part of Suicide Prevention Month, Atlanta Public Schools is promoting Talk It Out, a free phone service for students seeking help that launched earlier this year.
Is a phone number that Atlanta Public School students can text with a school code, and they will be talking to a licensed therapist on the other end. This is 24/7.
High school senior Brooke Smith says students can reach out if they're stressed about school, a breakup, home life, or any other concern. It is now 2:02, and this news is sponsored by Brett Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier, the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
You know the saying, age before beauty? Well, many Atlanta homes built in the 80s and 90s are really showing their age and not so much beauty. Roofs are leaking, windows are drafty, paint is peeling everywhere, and that front door, well, might as well say Y2K, here we come. So many projects, and that means hiring a bunch of contractors, right? Wrong. Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. When you bundle several projects with Exovations, you can save time, money, and coordinate everything all at once for a truly stress-free experience. From the roof shingle at the top to the last drop of paint on the bottom, Exovations does it all. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, decks, gutters, and more. And with Exovations, you know we'll do your project on time, on budget, and without all that stress you usually hear about in construction. Schedule your free consultation today at exovations.com and bring your home into this millennium.
At Butler Lexus of South Atlanta, you're their priority. From personalized service to luxury amenities, they make sure you feel valued every step of the way. Buying or servicing, your experience matters. Call 800-NEW-LEXUS. Butler Lexus South Atlanta, the standard of amazing.
Monica Pearson for Superior Plumbing. Are you a plumber but looking for a better work-life balance? Superior Plumbing is looking for a few good plumbers to join their team. They offer a stable career with great pay and benefits. More importantly, you can build your career with a trusted company.
It is 2:05 and time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center is Alex Williams.
Hey, good afternoon, Bill. A little misty rain through downtown where I see construction in the right lane. 75-85 northbound, right around or just north of Highway 166, Langford Parkway exit 243. Southbound, they just wrapped up some HOV lane construction. 75-85 south near Freedom Parkway. Extra pressure on the ride back up into the Midtown and Northeast Atlanta area. And 285 north and southbound, still got the left lane construction in both ways at Glenwood Road, causing tougher southbound delays. You're seeing the brake lights 285 south from Highway 78, the Stone Mountain Freeway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Cloudy skies today with a few rain showers and rumbles of thunder. Today's high near 80, lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 83. Thursday, sunny and breezy with morning lows in the upper 50s, daytime high 78.
78 in Roswell, 75 in Austell, 75 in Fairburn. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is CARD. C-A-R-D.
And baby, I'm a wild card, a perfect little twist of fate.
Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is CARD. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5 p.m.
Greetings and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program. Here's the cryon at CNN, the little script under the bottom of what they're talking about. Hegseth defends firing of military leaders, rips diversity efforts. I'm telling you, let's inject that straight into our veins. This, by the way, this is the sort of stuff I voted for. The willingness to fire federal bureaucrats, I am totally down with this agenda. The left constantly says, Erickson, if you don't like it, why'd you vote for it? Because the alternative. Yeah, I'm willing to criticize my own side, always have been. No one cared until Trump was president. But I'm willing to criticize and also willing to praise. And there's far more to praise from the Trump administration than there would be from a Kamala Harris. Whatever it would be. It wouldn't even be an administration. It would be garbage. So, yeah. It's kind of wild to see where the left is in this sort of stuff. And let me tell you another thing I voted for. Using the FACE Act. I do not like the FACE Act. The FACE Act is a 1994 piece of legislation that the Democrats were able to steamroll through Congress before the Republicans for the first time took over in 40 years. It's the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. The law bars demonstrators from using or threatening force to intimidate, injure, or interfere with people who are seeking or providing reproductive health services and people who are seeking to exercise their First Amendment rights at a place of worship. It's never been used till the Biden administration decided to aggressively arrest pro-lifers. Joe Biden set the precedent for this, Democrats. Joe Biden set the precedent. Joe Biden dragged pro-lifers, including a wheelchair-bound grandmother, out of her house in the middle of the night and sent the grandmother to prison, to federal prison, for praying at an abortion clinic. She was in a wheelchair. And the Democrats argued, and by the way, a very progressive judge, federal judge, sentenced her to 2 years in prison and argued that she was inside the abortion clinic, and though people could have walked around her because she was in a wheelchair, her mere presence in the abortion clinic praying was enough under the FACE Act to send her to federal prison. And off she went. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, Democrats. You're always talking about, oh, the president, oh, the humanity, oh, the president. You're the ones who set the precedent. You set the precedent. You used the FACE Act. You decided that you would use the FACE Act and prosecute pro-lifers. And so Donald Trump has decided he's going to use it too. He's going to use it. The FACE Act has been very little used. But the FACE Act, the New York Times calls it novel, a novel use of the FACE Act, except it's actually in the law. It's not really a novel use. You can pull up the Wikipedia entrance if you want. I'll read this to you. The law signed by Bill Clinton prohibits the following three things: the use of physical force, threat of physical force, or physical obstruction to intentionally injure, intimidate, interfere with, or attempt to injure, intimidate, or interfere with a person obtaining an abortion. The use of physical force, threats of physical force, or physical obstruction to intentionally injure, intimidate, interfere with, or attempt to injure, interfere, or intimidate any person who's attempting to exercise their First Amendment right to religious freedom at a place of worship, or the intentional damage or destruction of a reproductive health care facility or a place of worship. They literally threw a grandmother in federal prison who was wheelchair bound, claiming that she used physical force, the threat of physical force, or physical obstruction to intentionally injure, intimidate, interfere with, or attempt to injure, intimidate, or interfere with a person trying to obtain an abortion. Because she was praying in the abortion facility, she was found guilty of intimidation for praying, a wheelchair-bound 70-something-year-old grandmother. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, as I said. This is the New York Times today. The Trump administration is repurposing a law traditionally used to shield reproductive health clinics to pursue a civil case against pro-Palestinian demonstrators taking a side in a dispute that roiled New Jersey last year. The Justice Department Civil Rights Division on Monday filed a lawsuit against 2 New Jersey advocacy groups and 6 people who protested outside a synagogue, accusing them of engaging in a coordinated effort to intimidate and disrupt Jewish worshipers at a religious event. Wasim Khanna, the chairman of one of the groups, American Muslims for Palestine, New Jersey, declined to comment. In the past, he has said that such protests have nothing to do with the Jewish faith and are directed at the policies of the State of Israel and its treatment of Palestinians. The other defendants could not be reached. The events the suit describes took place last November in West Orange, New Jersey, 20 miles west of Manhattan. Pro-Palestinian demonstrators gathered to protest a real estate fair at which property in Israel and in the West Bank was expected to be offered. Such shows have been held for decades, but they've taken on a new symbolism during the war in Gaza. The November protest was particularly contentious. Masked protesters holding plastic horns called vuvuzelas and signs reading "Stop the Sale of Stolen Palestinian Land" clashed with pro-Israel counter-protesters outside Congregational Torah, an Orthodox synagogue. Ultimately, 2 pro-Israel demonstrators were charged with aggravated assault, including one, Moshe Glick, who the authorities said hit a demonstrator in the head with a flashlight. The Justice Department's lawsuit, however, takes aim squarely at the pro-Palestinian demonstrators, seeking to bar them from protesting outside houses of worship and asking that they each pay tens of thousands of dollars for violating the law. Harmeet Dillon, God bless her, she's wonderful. She's the head of the Civil Rights Division. She says it represented the department's first use of the FACE Act against demonstrators outside a house of worship. It may be, but the law clearly allows it to be done that way. The FACE Act specifies it cannot be construed to block exercise of free speech. However, if you block access to a house of worship, well, the FACE Act can be used against you. In this case, you should understand that someone, the vuvuzela, it's the horn, they played it at soccer matches and the like, and it ruptured the eardrum of a Jewish person who was headed to the synagogue. Just for perspective here, the New York Times plays that down, but it literally was blown into the ear of a Jew headed to synagogue and ruptured his eardrum. By design, it ruptured his eardrum. I'm trying to find this basic story here that documents some of what was done. Regardless, I put it on social media earlier. Yeah, it caused physical damage to a person. Physical damage. And so they're stepping up to use the FACE Act. And the New York Times is like, oh my gosh, this is so horrible. How dare they do this? And yet pay no attention to the physical injury caused to the Jew headed into synagogue. You should know, by the way, that Republicans have for years called on Democrats to use the FACE Act to protect places of worship, and the Democrats have refused to use the FACE Act to protect places of worship. The Democrats have solely used the FACE Act to target pro-lifers. It was only in the Biden administration that the FACE Act was used to actually imprison pro-lifers. So turnabout's fair play. That the New York Times went to great pains to downplay the law and claim it's a novel use, never mind the fact that it is explicitly written into the law it can be used to protect places of worship, should tell you everything you need to know about this and which side the New York Times is on. They legitimately targeted Jews headed to synagogue. Well, Eric said it was a real estate fair. Some of them were going to worship at the synagogue. And the protesters outside didn't distinguish between those going to worship and those going to the real estate fair. They didn't distinguish it. And because they refused to distinguish, there's no reason for the Trump administration to distinguish. Turnabout is fair play here, guys. I've told you over and over and over again that both sides set precedents that the other uses. This is a precedent set by the Democrats. One of many precedents used by Donald Trump. Look at the Comey prosecution. You got Mike Flynn. You got Jeff Clark. You got who else? Who were harassed by the Biden Justice Department? You got Donald Trump. Donald Trump may be the biggest one. The Democrats tried to sue him in every state they possibly could to keep him off the ballot, to throw him in jail, to take his money, to take his businesses. It was absolutely campaigning by lawfare. Only Democrats refused to be intellectually honest enough to acknowledge what was going on. And now they're like, you can't do this to James Comey. No, you people told me that no one is above the law. And apparently you had a footnote in there that said, except James Comey. Turnabout's fair play. You may not like it. You cannot stop it. You did it first. You refused to be intellectually honest enough to admit you did it first. You did it first by prosecuting Trump and Flynn and Clark and all these others. Now you did it with the FACE Act and the pro-lifers. Now it's being done to you, and you don't like it. You're squealing like a stuck pig. Now, conservatives, Republicans, Trump supporters, what you need to do once you've had your fun is kill all this legislation and gut these powers. Because at some point, there's no such thing as permanent majority in politics in America. At some point, the Democrats will come back. And there will be hell to pay unless you gut the power now. Unless you gut the power. You've got to get a clue on this. If you leave the power out there, it's going to be used again by the Democrats. You got to throw the ring in the volcano. You got to melt the ring of power. Because once you lose it and the Democrats get it back, there's going to be hell to pay on your side too. Both sides are writing checks they can't cash when the other side is in power. And the only way to diffuse this situation is not to continue to bludgeon the opposition, but to, after you've bludgeoned them, as you're doing now, make sure that they can't bludgeon you by stripping yourselves of the power to keep doing it. And if you take the power away from yourself through an act of Congress, the Democrats can't get it back. And you're in a perfect position right now with this shutdown and leverage. And the way the Democrats have boxed themselves in is to force them to help you get rid of the powers that both of you use against each other.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
221 Coolray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Getting worse out of Clarkston on 285 southbound, the inner loop. You're stacked in from Highway 78, the Stone Mountain Freeway, down to the left lane construction in Glenwood Road. Also hearing DeKalb and Fire Rescue dispatch a crash in that same area, so that's making it an even worse ride. From the Stone Mountain Freeway, we found right lane construction downtown, 7585 northbound, passing Highway 166 Langford Parkway. Right lane block there, causing some brake lights from Cleveland Avenue. Traffic brought to you by Peach Pass. Life doesn't slow down, and neither can you. With Peach Pass, save time, cruise by traffic, and use your Peach Pass in 20 states, including Georgia. Visit peachpass.com and keep moving. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is CARD. C-A-R-D.
And baby, I'm a wild card, a perfect little twist of fate.
Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is CARD. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5 p.m.
The foods we eat can be downright bad for our health. This is Sue from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've been teaching the truth about real bread. Not the stuff you buy at the store. I'm talking real bread made with freshly milled flour. When you buy bread from the store, take a look at the ingredients. Enriched flour means that the nutritious bran and germ has been removed to improve the shelf life. Then a few B vitamins and iron are added back back to replace the multitude of nutrients lost. That's not enrichment in my book. And today, that label may even read contains bioengineered food ingredients. Food should never be bioengineered. At Bread Beckers in Woodstock, we can teach you how to make real bread loaded with fiber and nutrients. A delicious, healthy, affordable solution that can improve your health and change your life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information. If you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the Portfolio X-ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the Portfolio X-ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well, and I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-Ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
With thousands of 5-star reviews, it's no wonder CertaPro Painters is Greater Atlanta's most preferred painting company. Hear from one of their happy customers.
We wanted to add some color to our walls, so we hired CertaPro. We had built-in shelves that were supposed to be ready to paint when they got there, which they were not. CertaPro spent hours caulking and sanding to make sure the job was done right. It's rare to find a crew with integrity who really take pride in their work.
When choosing a painting professional, choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
My buddy Adam texted me or emailed me and pointed out something about the FACE Act, and I totally made it on a phone call earlier and then forgot. You know, technically the Democrats have used the FACE Act to protect churches because Planned Parenthood is a religious sacrament and the high priests of the sacrament of abortion for the Democrats. So they have been using the FACE Act all alone for religious purposes, and now the Republicans are just applying it to synagogues, not just abortion clinics. So all keeping it within the religious community. The phone number here, 877-973-7425. When we come back, I will take your phone calls. We just don't have time right now. I can tell you that the trap is being set this afternoon. I am told and have reason to believe it is true that the Office of Management and Budget today has informed federal employees that those people working on reduction in force notices and layoffs will be considered essential personnel who will be required to continue their work if the government shuts down. In other words, in the past, if you were in charge of firing people, you stopped working when the government shut down. But now, the Office of Management and Budget is telling you, completely within their discretion and power to do, that you will stay at work and continue working on your lists of employees to fire. The Democrats are walking into this trap. They know they're headed into this trap. They cannot stop walking into this trap because the Democratic base doesn't understand what's about to happen and just wants to see the Democratic Party fight, fight, fight. They will fight themselves right out of public sector unions that are about to be taken over by MAGA. MAGA will have gone for the non-governmental organizations that fund the left-wing extremist groups. They're investigating Soros, and now they're about to gut the public sector unions too. The Democrats walking straight into this trap. Y'all, I've told you how my friends at Americans for Prosperity did so much to get Donald Trump's tax bill passed. They were amazing. They rallied the largest crowd of Americans to call members of Congress to support the president's tax cuts. And the bill is the law of the land, but they're not resting on their laurels. They're pulling out all the stops to get Congress to pass a permitting reform bill. With bipartisan support, it would speed up all sorts of energy and mining products and projects. Unlocking the natural resources we need to build America's future that creates great paying jobs, makes energy more affordable, drills and extracts precious metals, minerals, rare earths, oil, natural gas, everything we need. I'm telling you, when it comes to fighting for more economic freedom, Americans for Prosperity is relentless on this. And these days, relentless is what you've got to be. To see what my friends at AAP are up to, if you want to join them in this fight for energy in this country, go to prosperityispossible.com. That's prosperityispossible.com. Sign up with AAP today and get involved at prosperityispossible.com.
WSB is looking for a home for Buddy. Chris Chandler here from Atlanta's Morning News, and Buddy's our dog of the month with Paws Atlanta. About a year-old, 40-pound mix, great starter dog for a family. Meet him at WSBRadio.com/dog. Our sponsor, Finley Roofing, will pay the adoption fees for you. WSBRadio.com/dog.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. With no deal in sight to prevent a government shutdown tonight, Georgia businesses are worried about the impact it would have here.
Businesses love certainty. We like knowing exactly what the rules are so we can follow those and be good corporate citizens. But in light of this, just the unknowns here, it's hard to do that and it's hard to make those decisions. So we just relay that to the members of Congress.
Georgia Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Chris Clark says many industries in the state will be affected by a shutdown, especially companies who are working under government contracts. Happening now, a gas leak at a southwest Atlanta home leads to an evacuation of nearby neighbors in a charter elementary school. Atlanta Fire and Rescue says crews responded to reports of a gas leak at 860 Welt Street. Fire officials say crews are working with Atlanta Gas Light to shut off the leak. An Atlanta Public School spokesman says Kendesi at Gideon School was evacuated as a precaution. No injuries reported. Cobb police give new details about the arrest of 4 shoplifting suspects. They fled the Cumberland Mall area at high speed, sometimes driving in oncoming lanes and at times going twice the posted speed limit. Police utilized a pit maneuver to stop the vehicle and take 4 men into custody. 2 of the 4 already had outstanding warrants for previous incidents, all 4 facing felony charges. The football game between 2 historically black colleges set for Saturday in Atlanta will no longer be held at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The game between Florida A&M and Mississippi Valley State will now take place November 29th in Mississippi with kickoff at 2 p.m. It is now 2:32. This news sponsored by FGA Roofing.
Better prices, better views. Window comfort, meant just for you. Window comfort.
Imagine the relief of windows without annoying drafts or high energy bills. Window Comfort's making it easier than ever with buy 2, get 2 free, no payments till 2026, and expert one-day installation. Go to windowcomfort.com for your no-pressure estimate today.
Better prices, better views. Window comfort, meant just for you. Window comfort.
Save money by getting pre-approved for your next auto loan at Coosa Valley Credit Union. We offer the most competitive interest rates in the market, as low as 3.49 APR when you open an account with direct deposit. This is Andy Harris, President of Coosa Valley Credit Union, inviting you to stop in a branch near you. You'll experience kinder banking with real people, not automation. Plus, with 11 locations in Northwest Georgia, we're always local and nearby.
Contact 706-235-8551 for more details. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
At Kroger Pharmacy, we make it easy to get flu, COVID, and RSV vaccines. They're available at no cost to you with most insurance plans, no appointment needed. And we're open weekdays, weeknights, and weekends, so come and visit us when it's most convenient for you. Kroger Health, a world of care is in store. Vaccines subject to availability. No cost to you with most insurance plans. Check with your plan for eligibility. Restrictions and exclusions may apply. See site for details.
At 2:34, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
Hey, Bill, checking on the new crash we're hearing authorities respond to. 85 northbound up around North Druid Hills Road, exit number 89. DOT says a couple of right lanes blocked. We're going to hone in the jam cam on that. Very slow, 285 south, the inner loop over into DeKalb County, starting in Clarkston from Highway 78, the Stone Mountain Freeway, down to construction in the left lane at Glenwood Road. Also a crash in that work zone, making delays even worse. And you also have the left lane construction on the other side of the wall as well, 285 northbound, the outer loop at Glenwood Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Cloudy skies with a few rain showers and rumbles of thunder later on today. Highs in the upper 70s to low 80s.
75 in Tucker, 77 Conyers, 76 in Palmetto. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Let me hop to the phones here. Teresa, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Eric. So I just wanted to let you know that the very first offer that the government gave to federal employees, in my opinion, was the best offer, the fork in the road. Well, the fork in the road ends today. Today is my retirement date, and I got paid every 2 weeks. I knew that the money was budgeted for our salaries, and it was never an issue with me thinking I wouldn't get paid. And I didn't have to work, and it worked for me, and today is my last day as a federal employee, 32 years. So
wow.
I just wanted to share that with you.
Good for you.
Yep.
So and the irony is, if you stayed like another 24 hours, there would be a day without pay in there because you'd be a federal employee, have to go through a shutdown.
Yeah. So I turned in my application, I certified it, and I'm just waiting for my 80% check and then my 100% pension check.
Good for you.
And yeah, so I'm excited.
So now what's next for you? Are you retiring or are you going to go find something else?
I am still young, so I want to find something else. I like health and nutrition, so I want to do something with that. I wrote a book in 2023, so I'm working on a second one. I want to take a cruise. I want to learn golf. I want to play
hope you learn better than me.
Kind of stuff.
Well, good for you. Yeah, listen, work is good for your soul, so don't just sit around resting on your laurels. But I would definitely, I'm not a cruise person myself, but all my friends who love it. So take a cruise, enjoy yourself, do better than I do at golf, please. But get back in the workforce, too. Find something to do now that's rewarding for your soul. And make the best of it. Good luck to you. Thanks for sharing. Stuart, you're going to be the next caller. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Eric. Thank you for taking my call. I'll be brief because your time and message is important to all of us. I believe that Trump and Hesketh bringing the generals together at Quantico, that was a masterclass in communication, because if they had done that message any other way, by letter or video conference or anything else, we would not have heard about it. And the goal was to provoke a response from the Dems and to tell the rest of the world that the U.S. military is coming back. So was it worth the cost? Absolutely.
Well, so I would counter in just one small way, not to dispute with what you're saying, Stuart, but had they done it like in a video or had they done it in a letter, it would have leaked to the American media, and they probably would have lit their hair on fire even more than they did by him doing this the way he did it, which would have actually been funny to watch, the absolute conspiratorial meltdown. Can you imagine if they did it by like secure video that they all had to watch and somebody filmed it with their cell phone? One, we kind of probably exposed all the leakers and booted them out of the military, but also the absolute meltdown from members of the press corps had they done it. I will say, though, I got a text message from a friend of mine who is a ranking personnel in the National Guard, who said that his view is that Hesketh's message got lost in the tone and the tenor. Leadership requires you to talk to everyone, not at everyone. That's a difference. If your message gets lost, you didn't effectively communicate. He's not wrong about the standards and the things being merit-based. We all want a merit-based military, but it was shrouded in all the catchphrases of woke, DEI, and gender-based. He could have done all of this on a much smaller scale without the cameras around, but it's all about the clicks with this administration. He also doesn't need to uproot the entire garden at one time. You can start with smaller changes and work your way up, but upheaval seems to be the calling card for his policies. That's from a ranking member, friend of mine in the National Guard, who, by the way, agrees with everything Hesketh's doing, just would have gone about it differently. So your mileage may vary on how he did it. But again, what's interesting is whether you agreed with the approach or not. Even this friend of mine who disagreed with the approach, it's like, yeah, I'm here for what he's actually doing because it's needed inside the military. And yes, I think it is needed inside the military. Now, I want to switch gears. I really want to spend some time on this. Yesterday, the President of the United States, Benjamin Netanyahu, announced a 20-point plan to bring peace to Gaza. The basics are that Hamas must disarm, hand back all the hostages, living or dead. Israel will give a lot of Hamasniks who are arrested back to Gaza. Hamas will go away, give up their arms, and the Palestinians will transition to a new government and an outside board of peace controlled by Donald Trump and Tony Blair that will oversee the redevelopment of Gaza for the Palestinian people. And there are a whole lot of people who are completely ignorant of history, who do not understand that for a very long time, the Palestinians have rejected statehood to keep fighting the Israelis. I don't expect you to believe me if you're on the left, but I want to play you the audio of someone who was actually involved in trying to build a two-state solution and was able to get the Israelis to agree to a free, separate, and independent Palestine, only to have it rejected by the Palestinian leadership. I give you former President of the United States, William Jefferson Bill Clinton.
Look, I think what's happened there in the last 25 years is one of the great tragedies of the 21st century. And when I tell the young people, for example, who are understandably in America, or let's say they're super sympathetic with the Palestinians, well, they've been killed, a lot of those Palestinians have, and all they know is that a lot more Palestinians have been killed than Israelis. And I tell them what Arafat walked away from. And they can't believe it. I said, oh yeah, he walked away from a Palestinian state with a capital in East Jerusalem, 96% of the West Bank, 4% of Israel, to make up for the 4% that the settlers occupy that were beyond the borders in the 67 war. And I go through all the stuff that was in the deal, and they like, it's not on their radar screen. They can't even imagine that happened. And I tell them, you know, the first and most famous victim of an attempt to give the Palestinians a state was Prime Minister Rabin, whom I think loved as much as I ever loved another man. And so Rabin, he dies, and then Shimon Peres is defeated in the election, and where the rest of it is history. But you walk away from these once-in-a-lifetime peace opportunities, and you can't complain 25 years later when the doors weren't all still open and all the possibilities weren't still there. You can't do it. It's just...
Your voice just cracked when you said that.
Yeah. I'm an old guy. I have my regrets. That's one of them.
Old guy, I have my regrets. Let's lay this all out there. Bill Clinton was able to get the Prime Minister of Israel and Yasser Arafat to the table, and the Prime Minister of Israel offered all of East Jerusalem minus a small section where Israeli settlers were. So Yasser Arafat would get all of the West Bank, would get East Jerusalem, and 4% of Israeli territory to have a free Palestinian nation. Yasser Arafat turned it down. He walked away from the table because he couldn't give up the fight. Yasser Arafat wanted to vilify the Jews and fight the Jews and kill the Jews. And the Jews offered peace. They offered East Jerusalem as a capital for a Palestinian nation. Most of the West Bank, 96% of the West Bank, and then 4% of new territory within inside Israel to make up for where the settlers had moved inside the West Bank. And Yasser Arafat said no. You would have had a Palestinian nation, but Yasser Arafat, on behalf of the Palestinians, said, no, we want to fight the Jews. And then Prime Minister Rabin was assassinated by an Israeli who was incensed that he would give up this deal, that he would give up East Jerusalem. It cost the Israeli Prime Minister his life, and Yasser Arafat nothing. And the people of the Palestinian territory, everything else. Cost them everything else. That's the true and honest history that progressives who are championing the Palestinian cause in the streets don't know about, don't care about, don't want to believe. They could have had everything they wanted, except Israel would still exist. And at the end of the day, ultimately, the Palestinian leadership and the people who protest on support of Hamas, they don't want the Jews to still exist. They don't want the Palestinians to not be in charge of the whole thing. They want river to sea. And because they want river to sea, they get nothing. Now here comes this president, Donald Trump, who's offering a new deal for Gaza, not the West Bank. The West Bank, it's confusing for some. The West Bank is to the east. It is on the east side of Jerusalem. It is the western bank of the Jordan River. It is East Jerusalem. Gaza is in the southwest, bordering Egypt. And in Gaza, the President of the United States says if Hamas will lay down its arms, its surviving members will get amnesty and will even be set up to live abroad if they so choose, or they can stay in Gaza and be peaceful. but they must give up their weapons. They must give up all the hostages and the bodies of the dead hostages, all of them, not in increments. They must give them all up, and then if they give them all up, the war will be at an end. Israel will let out of prison a massive number of people from Gaza who will go back to Gaza. And for every one Israeli hostage body, living or dead, that is turned back, Israel will give up 15 from Hamas. And then a new government will be set up. And the people of Gaza will have peace. And an internal defense force will be created that will provide law enforcement protection. There will be no military. There will be law enforcement. There will be policing. And a new board of peace will be set up, chaired by Donald Trump and Tony Blair, and it will set about the redevelopment of Gaza for the people of Gaza who will not have to leave the country, but will be able to be there and learn how to build and be taught useful job skills to build and construct a new Gaza. That is the offering of the President of the United States of America to the people of Gaza and to Hamas. They will get their own territory. They will get peace. But Hamas has to go away. Most of Hamas is dead. The question now is going to be, do the people of Hamas inside Gaza want peace or fighting? Yasser Arafat turned down a Palestinian nation in the West Bank. He turned it down. He could have had it. He could have had what he pledged he wanted, a free and independent Palestinian nation flying the Palestinian flag, and he chose to fight the Jews. The question now is, what does Hamas do? Do they do what Yasser Arafat did? Or do they put the people of the Palestinian territory first? We're watching history in the making. We're watching Hamas decide. And the president has said if Hamas rejects this, Benjamin Netanyahu has the president's permission to exterminate Hamas. And I got to be real honest with you. The greater part of me hopes that Hamas rejects the deal and that Israel exterminates Hamas, letting the monsters, the murderers, and the terrorists have amnesty and go free to continue plotting the death of the Jews, which is what they will do, seems too much for me. But this is still a far better deal than any ever conjured since Bill Clinton in the 1990s came within a breath of Yasser Arafat of setting up a free Palestinian nation. But Yasser Arafat said no. And now we deal with the consequences of that no all these years later.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
251 Coolray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Sounding a red alert up in the Brookhaven area. Hopefully just temporary, but right now they have all lanes shut down. 85 northbound Claremont Road, North Druid Hills Road, exit number 85. No traffic is getting through due to a rollover crash. Buford Highway is the best bet to get around that. On 285 in DeKalb County, we've been still dealing with left lane construction in both directions at Glenwood Road. Southbound delays out of Clarkston. East and northbound delays on 285 from Flat Shoals. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Boost your day at Whole Foods Market. Get 30% off all packaged coffee with Prime through September 30th while supplies last. You can shop in store or online. Terms apply. Alex Williams, 95.5 WUSB.
On air,
Online,
on the app,
where you get your news,
is where you'll win.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
Oh my God! The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
I just won $1,000.
Just enter the word at WSBRadio.com or on the WSB radio app. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 5 p.m.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
Did you know that warts are caused by a virus? Hi, it's Sue from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. A customer at Bread Beckers shared her story of frustration. Her daughter had warts, over 500 of them. Her beautiful, healthy daughter could not get rid of warts despite trying doctors, burning, freezing, ointments, you name it. We taught this woman that every nutrient needed to protect ourselves from viruses can be found in whole grains and real bread. She bought everything needed from Bread Beckers to make her own real bread at home. With this one simple change, her daughter's warts were gone in just 2.5 weeks for good. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've studied the incredible health benefits of whole grains and real bread. If you're struggling with warts, high cholesterol, bowel issues, or kids who seem to be constantly sick, take the first step to a healthier life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation.
Call 800-838-8614. 800-838-8614. That's 800-838-8614.
Paid for by Airtime Media.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
As we head into a government shutdown at the hands of Democrats who want funding for NPR and PBS and healthcare for illegal aliens, notice how no one is screaming about all the people who are going to die. Isn't that funny? Every time Republicans try to shut down the government, Democrats and members of the media talk about all the people who are going to be harmed, all the people who are going to die. The Democrats want the shutdown now, and it's all about, well, fighting for health care and, well, we're not going to get economic data for the Federal Reserve. That's about it. No deaths this shutdown. No one's going to die. It's a Schumer shutdown, so nobody's going to die out there. It really is remarkable to see the spin, which is also a tell that it's going to be hard to blame the Republicans for this as it plays out, because the Republicans have advanced legislation to keep the government funded. It's just the Democrats don't like that legislation because it doesn't fund NPR and PBS and healthcare for illegal aliens. And the Democrats say this is spin, that it's not true, but it actually is true. The Democrats' health care provision that they put forward would fund health care for illegal aliens. They've refused to change it. And it would fund NPR and PBS, and they've refused to change it. So you people are about to see the government shut down because white progressives want you to pay for their newscasts and for the health care for their nannies and gardeners who they refuse to pay. It's remarkable that this is where we're headed, but at midnight tonight, assuming there's no deal, there will be a shutdown. But the shrill rhetoric about people dying because of the shutdown, it's not happening because the Democrats and the media both know the Democrats ultimately will get blamed for what is a Democrat shutdown. Now, I need to tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You get 3 of them. You save $200. You get them for less than $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com. And they're an air purifier, so it gets rid of dust and pollen. It gets rid of all the stuff floating in the air. It kills 99.9% of bacteria and viruses, and then it wipes out odors. No odor can stand up to it because it produces ozone that goes out into the room. It touches the odor particles and destroys the odor particles. So litter box odors, smoke odors, dirty diaper odors, cooking odors doesn't stand up to the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You get one for upstairs, downstairs, your basement, your travel bag, your RV. They're highly portable. You can hold it in your hand. You can even plug it up in a car with a USB cord or under your laptop. I've used it that way. Or plug it directly into the wall, and it just wipes out odors. I've used it in hotel rooms and rental cars to wipe out smoke odors. I've used it on my back porch to wipe out bad odors. It just works. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
Two things can be true at once. The stock market in the United States is way overvalued by just about any historic measurement. So people are getting nervous. They're worried there's going to be some giant crash. So this has created a wide opening for ultra-high commission, ultra-high cost sellers of annuities to pitch into your concern, your potential fear, what you worked hard to save falling apart. But do you know those annuities are so ugly in terms of tax treatment for you and the expenses